original recipe or Van Milder here? Oh, it's funny. I can gently tap the fourth wall too. The proposal.
I think it's safe to say that most people agree that the Marvel Cinematic Universe has at least temporarily hit a wall. After over a decade, Marvel has had to start shifting some of their biggest actors and franchises around. And the multiverse phase has been met with a lackluster reaction, to say the least. The term superhero fatigue has become very common in media, as many viewers get frustrated getting attached to many new Marvel characters after the explosion of Avengers Endgame. However, one franchise within Marvel that's still going strong is Deadpool, and a big part of that is that it's continually had a strong combination of humor and action, with Ryan Reynolds' often annoyingly self-aware blend of meta references, fourth wall breaking, and R-rated vulgarity, mixed with action sequences that are able to be far more graphic than the rest of the Marvel films. Deadpool is a comic character basically tailor-made for Ryan Reynolds as a Canadian with the same height, build, hair, and eye color, and they both have triple alliterative names. Deadpool has even been described as looking like Ryan Reynolds crossed with a Shar-Pei. And Ryan Reynolds has taken this character and ran with it, becoming not just a producer, but a co-writer of the last two movies, and even improvising many of his lines. Deadpool has won over audiences by not just being self-aware, but actually nipping at the hand that feeds it. By parodying the superhero genre and making jokes at the expense of the MCU and other Marvel franchises like X-Men, and even at the expense of studios, both Disney and Fox. Deadpool, aka Wade Winston Wilson, has taken pains to remind the audiences that he isn't a hero, a former Special Forces operative turned morally flexible mercenary.
4 or 5 moments.
I'm sorry?
4 or 5 moments, that's all it takes.
To
be a hero.
In 2016's Deadpool, the second ever R-rated superhero movie put out by Marvel, Deadpool has turned from a likable, handsome scumbag into a hideously scarred mutant freak after being diagnosed with terminal cancer and being given a business card from what is assumed to be a government-run laboratory that makes superheroes, but is actually a privately run mutant factory that makes slaves. Deadpool is tortured and turned into a hideously scarred monster, who has regenerative abilities and cannot die. In the second Deadpool, or Deadpool 2 as it's known, Deadpool puts together the X-Force team to fight against the time-traveling cyber soldier, Cable, played by Josh Brolin. Deadpool is technically the 8th and Deadpool 2 the 11th installment of the X-Men films, which have had a very mixed track record, unlike their far more successful cousins in the MCU, at least before all the multiverse movies we've suddenly gotten. This brings us to tonight's film, Deadpool and Wolverine, the first time Deadpool crosses into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Director Shawn Levy has made it clear this is not Deadpool 3, because of course they couldn't just make the chronology easy. After Deadpool's success as an R-rated superhero film, James Mangold directed Logan as an R-rated Wolverine film. However, unlike Tim Miller, Brett Reese, and Paul Wernick, who wrote and directed Deadpool as a meta-referential comedy, Mangold's foray into R-rated superhero films was gritty, brutal, and intensely emotional, with the aging Hugh Jackman ready to hang up his claws after 9 appearances as Wolverine. Logan dies at the end of the movie, seemingly passing the torch to his daughter. But just when he thought he was out, they pulled him back in. Deadpool and Wolverine is able to bring him back because it exists to take the piss out of all the MCU multiverse movies. Wolverine is back, not as our brave, fearless Logan, but as the worst version of Logan, from the worst timeline where he got all the X-Men killed. Deadpool pulls Wolverine out of that timeline in order to use him as an anchor being to save Deadpool's timeline, where Logan is already dead. After the timeline is under threat from Mr. Paradox, aka Evil Tom Wamsgams, who works at the TVA, the Tennessee Valley, the Time Variance Authority, Deadpool and Wolverine are trapped within the Void, where over a dozen well-known Marvel characters have also been trapped, with references to Wesley Snipes' Blade, the first R-rated Marvel movie, as well as Fantastic Four. It's cameos galore in that Mad Max-style Void. They need to get out of the Void if they're ever going to save Deadpool's universe. They also need to learn to work together, something both Deadpool and Wolverine have always been reluctant to do. I appreciated that this Deadpool sequel is willing to just shit all over the whole multiverse thing. It's just like every MCU movie now. It's not everything everywhere all at once, but I had enough of it there, and then Into the Spider-Verse was good. That's enough. Deadpool Wolverine has been a massive success at the box office, and is on track to make $1 billion by the end of the month, and is the highest grossing rated R movie of all time, showing studios that it's okay to make R-rated movies for a mass audience again. In recent years, more studios have aimed at PG-13 ratings than R, It's the play it safe model that sees already existing IP aimed squarely at the PG-13 rating as the safest bet. It also isn't afraid to satirize the way that Disney and Fox had previously divided up this IP. With Disney buying up the MCU in 2009 and 20th Century Fox owning X-Men and Fantastic Four, this has made crossing the franchises together extremely difficult. Frustrating filmmakers and fans of the studios clung to their territory. In 2019, Disney finally bought 21st Century Fox, including all the X-Men and Fantastic Four characters. Marvel Studios is planning to integrate it all into the MCU, but thankfully, Deadpool got to take a crack at the MCU first.
So, what made you finally wear an honest-to-God costume? Mine's red so they can't see me bleed. But I could see how yellow would be useful, too.
Have you been checked for ADHD?
Anyway, before I introduce the panel, please like this video and subscribe to the Movie Night Extravaganza YouTube channel. Hit that bell to get notified whenever we're streaming. Also, we are now monetized, so if you have any pressing questions during this live stream, send us a super chat, which helps me keep the show running, and which I am obligated by international law, human rights law, to answer. We also have a Patreon, patreon.com/movie night extra. All of our after parties are on there forever. We also have a new Discord and a Letterboxd HQ account, so those are 2 more places to follow along with us. Links are in the description. Okay, let me introduce the panel. Conan Neutron, host of Protonic Reversal, co-host of Movie Night Extravaganza, and frontman for Conan Neutron and the Secret Friends, neutronfriends.bandcamp.com. J. Andrew World, illustrator, book cover artist, artist for Give Them an Argument, co-host for Movie Night Extravaganza, and Bad Takes. Kristina Oakes is streaming on Twitch at Cosmopolitics, twitch.tv/Cosmopolitics. Also recently joined YouTube, she's on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Cosmopolitics. Send her some subs on Twitch, and send her a coffee. Josh is the host of The Afternoon Tune, a show where 3 guys with a passion for stories discuss movies, TV shows, and video games. The Afternoon Tune is on YouTube and Twitch. I, of course, am your host, who is not a hero, just a host, Forrest Miller. I am the #1 Dogpool fan.
Nice. It's tough. Tough competition.
Yeah. So
apparently the Dogpool actor was that one dog that got voted ugliest dog in the world. Yeah,
she's adorable.
2023. That's not fair. I'm angry. I found that out last night, and now I'm angry about it.
She's adorable.
But what are you gonna say, Kristina? Sorry.
So a lot of people, like, let's get this out of the table first. A lot of people were mad that Hugh Jackman came back, okay? And a lot of people were wondering, in the beginning, he fought with Logan's corpse. A lot of people were like, what was the point of the bye? I'm like, because it's saying fuck you to all the people who said that there couldn't be another Wolverine variant and that Hugh Jackman couldn't come back. Like, he's basically desecrating Logan's bones in this fight scene.
Well, it's a meta-referential thing that's very much in character for Deadpool to be doing, like, on every possible level. Like, it's to say that it would be, like, even remotely out of character would be wildly disingenuous because.
But now everyone's doing on TikTok.
Oh, are they? Yeah.
Oh yeah, in Deadpool costumes too.
Josh, welcome to the show. By the way.
Oh, hey, good to be here. Thank you.
The guy that made Logan, James Mangold, is like #1 hater of which makes sense because they basically did desecrate the film that he was incredibly proud of making, and was like, oh well, we can finally get Hugh Jackman out of playing Wolverine for the last 20 years or whatever because he was complaining about it nonstop, and so that guy's been like shading Deadpool and Wolverine in the press nonstop and being like, oh well, the MCU and I don't know, it's just funny to.
Well, James Mangold also made that completely unnecessary Indiana Jones movie last year, which is like, I just wish that they would have stopped with, like everyone else, with Last Crusade. But I didn't despise it or anything, but it certainly wasn't necessary at all. Credit where credit's due, he did do Walk the Line, which was awesome. But then, I wonder what his thoughts on Walk Hard are. Probably not great because it's
the same as Deadpool Wolverine.
Right, exactly.
Maybe super cinematic universe. That's what he's
exactly. Absolutely. People are saying this more and more.
Yeah, he also did 310 to Yuma, which is great.
Yeah.
I was
310 Yuma's good. Yeah, but it seems like, dude, maybe that's not his bag. It's not his vibe, right? Of this irreverent farce.
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera. I don't know.
I was excited when Hugh Jackman got announced, but did you guys know that the original title was called Deadpool and Friend, and a lot of people hated that title? But it got leaked the night before the first teaser drop, and so they quickly changed it, and now it's Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm like, it should have been that from the beginning.
Deadpool and Friend. What is it? It could be Deadpool and the Secret Friends. I mean, like,
That's like copyright infringement right there.
Exactly. You'll be hearing from my lawyers, sir.
I mean, unless you're getting that nice royalty money for song usage.
In which case, please go right ahead. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's decent. It's decent trolling though, right? Because people really, really like Wolverine as a character, and really like Hugh Jackman's portrayal of Wolverine. So it is decent trolling to be like, oh, Deadpool and Friend, unnamed
friend. Yeah. I think it's the rollout of it's pretty great. Like how it actually all came to pass, right? And that really comes down to, and I've talked about on this show in the past about there being like two examples in recent history of someone basically championing doing a movie for their vision of it, for the role that they're going to play. And it's one of them is Margot Robbie and Barbie, and the other is Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. And they're both wildly successful for very different reasons.
But mostly because Ryan Reynolds just kept leaking things. Like,
well, yeah, because I mean, he in pure malevolent Deadpool style fashion as
Yes.
well, which is, boy, has the world ever match that sensibility. Which is funny because like when people get mad about it too, which people love getting mad about stuff, right? And it's just like, well, this is how the character is canonically in the universe. Like everybody is like, even his allies are annoyed when he shows up in like the comic books, right? So it makes sense.
Like the hate campaign for this movie that it came out as soon as it started, like people got word that, Hugh Jackman's come back. They're like, oh, this movie's gonna bomb, blah, blah. I'm like, it's a Deadpool movie. You think the last two bombed? No, they didn't.
Yeah. Well, and especially, and you got into a little bit with the intro for us. Like the original Deadpool, it basically made it okay for like R-rated superhero movies to exist. Like there is no Logan without Deadpool. Like whether Mangold wants to admit it or not. And it was not done on like it wasn't like a micro indie or anything, but it was something like $58 million budget, and it made some like $782 million.
Yeah, maybe that's why he's salty about it.
But the idea was that, and again, before The Boys was the adaptation was such a hit, and universally and like near monoculture wise, it was very much of a superhero movie that wasn't for kids, like at all. And that just that just wasn't done. And it's weird to think about now because now it's been like it's almost overdone, but nobody has done it in this way. And specifically with a character that is like just absolutely designed for our times.
yes.
To put it bluntly.
I can't hate Deadpool, like or even with Ryan Reynolds. Like a lot of people, again, they say, "Oh, Ryan Reynolds just plays himself and has no range," and I'm like, it's the first person who said all that. Ryan Reynolds himself.
Exactly.
I think
you're not saying anything groundbreaking or provocative. Like, come on.
He very much knows who he is. I mean, look. Like, remember when I think it's the first movie, right? Where there's the post-credit scene with the Green Lantern reference, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, that's amazing. Like,
yeah. And even in the first Deadpool movie, he's like, I think talking with Blind now, he's like, you think Ryan Reynolds got famous due to his superior acting skills? Like, no.
Right.
I always really liked him in Voices. He was really good. Buried. I think Buried is probably his best movie. And then Adventureland, he has a little range in Adventureland.
He does
so
do some dramatic
and,
work in Adventureland. Yeah,
right. He's so fucking creepy in Adventureland too. Like his whole like 40-year-old married guy having an affair with like a much younger Kristen Stewart in that movie. I'm like, that was the first time I was like, yeah, I'm skeeved out by Ryan Reynolds in this role.
But he plays that dude so well, like how that dude would be considered cool, and also like, oh, it's unfortunate and regrettable at the same time. Also, underrated movie. Adventureland's great.
Yeah. No, it's a really good movie.
This is not the first time Ryan Reynolds has collabed with the director. He did the Free Guy, which I actually thought was good. I liked it.
Like, I swear, I what did people think they were watching?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, what did you think this was going to be? Like, this is exactly what I thought it was going to be, and I loved it. It was great. Mm-hmm. If you hate Ryan Reynolds, I don't know, maybe don't watch the movie.
I think Free Guy was the first movie on TikTok to do like a big TikTok campaign because they kept referencing the Mariah Carey song. So I'm like that movie did well, digitally, and probably is doing numbers on Disney Plus. So it's on that now.
I just remember I was like, is that Jodie Comer? like in there, and it was like holy, because I think we had just done what do you call it, the Benedetta, right?
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, that's the Jodie Comer.
Yeah.
And I hadn't even seen Killing Eve yet or anything along those lines, but it was no, I mean, and that's I guess that's notable because it's Sean Levy directed this one as well too, and they obviously get along with each other. They did the Adam Project together, which was fine. It was a fine little low budget sci-fi movie.
Apparently they made him godfather to his and Blake Lively's son.
Oh wow!
Oh baby,
which is in the movie, by the way. The son voices Baby Pool.
Yeah, and the daughter was like, "If I want your opinion, I'll take Wolverine's dick out of your mouth." And I'm like, "That's definitely Ryan Reynolds' kid."
No, that is actually.
Yeah, I was like, "I see it."
Well, it's notable too because Sean Levy did, who did the Adam Project. Jennifer Garner's in there too.
Yeah,
and plays a pretty significant role. Like it's interesting to have. Like I'm not gonna lie, it's cool. I think Jennifer Garner's cool. We were having like a discussion about her, and then I actually like when she's doing interesting stuff because it seems like a lot of times she's just like
girl next door.
Yeah, just like normal girl.
Electra.
Right, exactly. Now that movie is like, don't get me started on
No, I'm just gonna say I don't think she was cast well for the Daredevil film as Electra. They needed somebody a little more exotic and with a lot more charisma to pull off the character.
It wouldn't have been the role I would have picked out for her personally.
Yeah,
I think the other people considered for Electra and Daredevil was Kate Winslet, it was Natalie Portman, it was Penelope Cruz, and it was Salma Hayek were the people there.
Okay.
I feel like those are all different. Very
different. That's gonna say like I had a whole range of emotions going on there while you mentioned that because they're all very different movies. Salma Hayek, wow, huh?
Okay, so let's talk about all them cameos. Spoiler alert, guys! If you haven't still seen the movie yet in chat,
what are you doing watching or listening to this if you haven't seen it? Because
that's also all we do is spoil everything.
I mean, the first thing. Obviously seen Happy, and we all thought that Robert Downey Jr. was going to make a appearance, but I think they've had him locked in as Doctor Doom for quite some time, so they weren't going to do that.
He was locked in a doctor room, actually.
Yeah. And I guess with Wade messing up the timelines, I'm like, out of all the X-Force people besides Peter, you bring back Rusty Shatterstar? The one you were making fun of the most?
Domino seemed like a no-brainer, right? But I don't know.
Yeah.
Luck. Yeah, I wonder if he was fooling around his time period where he went to Andrew Garfield's universe of Spider-Man, because that's a Spidey Deadpool movie I want to see with them and Andrew Garfield, because they have Ryan Reynolds and Andrew Garfield have a bit of a history.
And because you like both of them.
That and they kissed each other at the Golden Globes when they both lost a Golden Globe to I forgot who, but yeah, they're like he was like, I turned to Blake, but then I kissed Andrew instead, and I was like,
yeah, I mean. If as far as we're talking about the character. There's a great comic called Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. It's literally about that, exactly that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So again, as a fan of the character, I was like, oh boy, I hope he just really goes for it on this one. And like, you really did. I was surprised to see Cassandra Nova in there.
Yeah.
I was
which
like,
made her hot. I was like...
Yes.
Because she's not hot in the comics.
No.
She's the
older.
She's the actress that they had as Princess Diana in The Crown.
Yeah, they're great. I love. I
was trying to figure out who the fuck she was for the longest time. I was like, I know her from somewhere.
Well, because she's Professor Xavier's conjoined twin that was killed in the womb, and like she's old, like in the comics. By the time you actually see her, she's like withered and old and kind of and like.
But she's not actually human. It's a really weird story.
It's a really weird storyline. It's a Grant Morrison storyline. So of course it's like weird and metaphysical.
A beautiful Frank Quietly art.
Yeah.
I might also too, when trying to find the Wolverine, we had the comically accurate Short King Wolverine. We had the X-Men, uncanny like Wolverine. We had the
Fight the Apocalypse.
Yeah.
I can see why Adam Kubert was tweeting out how excited he was to see the movie, because he's the one who did the miniseries.
And
well,
then
yeah, I mean,
fucking-
there's that like what the iconic cover on 251 of Uncanny X-Men where he's on like crucified on the X.
He's like, "What the
add that?"
fuck? Are you
Which is like, oh my
okay?
god, that's amazing.
Such a
Oh,
great
man.
cover too by Mark Silvestri.
Logan. Yeah, but also to a lot of people, it's so funny when we saw the Cavill. I was like, "That's Henry Cavill." I just have a feeling, and a lot of people like Henry Cavill fans, Snyder fans, were like, "Yes," and I'm like, that got no reaction from anybody every time I saw it in the theater. I'm sorry, it wasn't some big deal. Like, I'm sorry.
What did land was Chris Evans as not who you think he is.
Oh my god! When I heard his voice, I was like, "No way!"
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Okay, he's gonna." Oh my god! I'm like, "Oh my god!" He's gonna say the line. Say the line. Avengers, flame on. I'm sorry. What now? Like, I was like, "Oh yeah, that's right." He was
they
Johnny
did
Storm.
a very good job with that reveal. That
Yes.
he's,
Yeah.
you know,
They got me good. I was like,
Yeah.
oh crap, it's because I had almost forgotten. Maybe I've been trying to forget that like all those they haven't made a good Fantastic Four movie yet, frankly.
Yeah.
But like
Well,
that
then-
one,
I don't know. The Corbin one's not bad.
And then seeing all the
It's not good
different
either.
characters from the X-Men movies, because we're like, what happened to all these other people? And it's like, we got, the OG Sabretooth too. And of course, Logan kills him easily.
right,
like people
almost
were like,
immediately.
where's God,
And
who played-
Nightcrawler's dad.
Yeah.
Was
Azazel?
Azazel. Yeah.
Or
exactly.
however, whatever. Which was that the same actor, by the way? I didn't look it up, but I wasn't quite sure if they actually got.
I think there were a lot of the same actors.
But no, because like Juggernaut was not Vinnie Jones.
No.
And then
not
they
him.
had a different guy playing the Russian from the Punisher movie.
they pointed out that he wasn't like they were like, oh, this is this year's Juggernaut, which I thought was a good line.
Yeah, they also replaced Bullseye because they had a brother play Bullseye, which was kind of cool.
Psylocke, I think they also replaced there as well.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah, I was amazed at seeing like all these different, because I'm like, because the Void was obviously very Mad Max-ish, which was an IP infringement apparently, according to Deadpool. But it was interesting. But then when you see Cassandra Nova,
it cracked me up after just watching Furiosa.
Yeah, we
a
just
month ago?
watched. I know.
Yeah.
I thought about that too. I was
And
like,
so
that's awesome.
it cracked me up because he calls fucking Johnny Storm. So he's like, what are you gonna want, Furiosa or something? And then I don't know. I was like, you said it.
yeah.
And then
Also-
of course they get the motorcycles that they come riding,
Yeah.
as
Oh, yeah.
chariot, which was
Yeah.
great nod to the Mad Max movie. But also like those motorcycles on there was like one of them was from various Captain America movies.
Oh,
Crazy.
Yeah, there's things you really have to pay attention to. Also, I said this in a chat one time, but I think another alternative could have been a Dan Stevens as David Haller as a villain.
from the Great Legion, which people forget is even in
Comic
the
accurate hair
universe.
for once.
Right. He did great. That's a brilliant show, and also great and only depiction of the Shadow King by the Great
Yes.
Opry Plaza.
Yes.
and, like done in
She's
a
gonna
way
be the
that,
Agatha show.
right, which is fantastic. And there's a lot of like look, there's a lot of stuff in here for the nerds. Like there's a version of Patch. Right, which is awesome.
Which like my first Wolverine comic I bought was one with Patch in it.
Yeah.
I think the most shocking moment was when we see Elektra. When we see when Wesley Snipes at Blake came out, I was like, I literally jumped out of my seat. I was like, what the?
Yeah, that was pretty. Well,
They have the hype music too for that. Like that actually did hype me up.
And then I
Like,
knew the thing with Channing
they
Tatum
have
as
the-
Gambit,
they
and I
have
was
like
like, oh.
They have like a dun 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 as Wesley Snipes comes out in like slow motion. It's like, damn, dude, that reveal was fucking good too.
There's only gonna be one blade.
And I kind of knew it was going to be the case, and that's one of the reasons why I decided to try to watch as early as possible. That people just rush to the internet as quickly as they could to like spoil it. Like, and now it's like I feel like half of like on my social media, half of these reels that people try to force down my throat are just like instant spoilers of like even if you're looking at the thumbnail, it's like a spoiler for the movie. And like I don't know, like I'm pretty over that, frankly. It's like it's sort of like there should be the ability to like opt out of that and have things be a surprise, but people just
There's
trying to make a name for
72-hour
themselves
rule,
with it.
people. 72-hour rule.
Do you think the studio think they made a mistake by putting Daphne Keene in the trailer there?
I had honestly forgotten that she was in there, and so I was super stoked. I was like, "Oh, that's awesome!" Like that she's. But then I was like, "Yeah," I was like, "Oh, I guess she was in the trailer," but I just forgot about it.
And the sunglasses too. Like they put the sunglasses in the trailer, which is just like
the reason why they did that, I think Daphne explained, is that they wanted to include her in the trailer to have some type of like emotional connection for Logan in that, because she basically convinces him, like, she's like, you were never the right guy until you were, and that what makes him goes to help fight the guys with Cassandra Cain. But can we talk about Channing Tatum for a second, because he's always wanted a Gambit movie, but I'm like, did you watch like Black Panther and just mimic like Chadwick Boseman T'Challa accent to try to? I'm like, that's like the worst Cajun accent ever.
No, he was switching the accent. That killed me in the fucking movie, because at one point he has a Jamaican accent and he says something man, and I was like, come on, man. It sets up like the best line in the entire thing though, which is like, who is your voice coach? The Minions? And I think out of all three fucking Deadpool movies, after watching like rewatching Deadpool and then watching Deadpool 2 this week, like that's my favorite line out of all three of them.
Yeah, it's really good. Well, the idea that, first of all, that was like a real thing that was going to happen. It's like, I was like, I remember when I was like, I like the Gambit character, okay, but his own movie, I don't really know if I need to see that. I don't know if I care about that.
Like, Channing Tatum's not the same build as Gambit.
It's not. He's not the first, second, third, fourth, or fifth person I would think of to play that role. And I'm not saying that it couldn't happen, because I honestly was like skeptical about Hugh Jackman. Right, where I was like, he's too tall.
5'4".
Well, he was also like a last-minute replacement, because River was originally supposed to be Doug Ray Scott, which would have been hilarious to have him as a cameo, because we've never seen him as Wolverine.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that would have been good. Yeah.
But I think
on that opportunity for Mission Impossible 2.
Yeah. Stanley Kubrick actually is the one who ruined, who gave us Hugh Jackman and ruined Doug Ray Scott's career.
Apparently, Channing Tatum was always a huge fan of Gambit. Like, he's like, I remember tossing cards in my room like him, and I'm like, oh my god, you're such a dork.
He's trying to do a Deadpool with that. He's like,
he's like, I was born to play this. No, you're not.
Let's just go ahead and what's a nice way I can say this? I'm not sure if him and Ryan Reynolds are in the same league creatively and
my name is Jeff.
But I do like that they bust balls like within the movie of which again is very Deadpool as well.
And I mean, he giving him the line, I feel like I was always here. Like, yeah.
I don't know. I think I was always from here. Like,
I think one of the only, as far as just like esoteric comedic references, one of the only things that they kind of could have done a good job that made better is that the Wolverine in the movie, they basically gave him the background of Old Man Logan. Just go the rest of the distance, man. That would have been cool. I don't know why they backed off on that, but using something like the base being like the body of Ant-Man as a giant is like, I mean, that's just cool. Yeah,
Paul Rudd finally aged.
Yeah, right, exactly. And it's what's funny is that from a. And we've just spent like 20 minutes, like basically like running through all our favorite esoteric references on this, but I think it works even if you don't like or respect or know any of those references. Like, it's still funny, it's still entertaining. Yeah. And I think one of the ways that works is because of the Deadpool asides and fourth wall breaking and stuff along those lines. That like. Again, I understand it goes just for a lot of people it's like doing it at all is like I'm out completely, but I think it always stays on the side of entertaining, and it is quintessentially the character. Again, he's the Bugs Bunny of the Marvel universe.
Yes,
he always has been.
Everyone's like, he broke the fourth wall too much in this movie, and I'm like,
like
she's always supposed to do.
Like if you're not like engaged with the whole he's breaking the fourth wall thing, like might as well not see the movies. He does that.
Yeah, what do you think you're watching exactly? Yeah. What do you think this is?
And don't be taking your kids, because then you're gonna bitch to the theater staff for giving you the ticket anyway reluctantly.
Yeah, go watch Borderlands. Thank you.
I like that. I like that as kind of Ryan Reynolds pushes his way through becoming like. Because he started out just being a producer, but not writer, and then he became the writer for Deadpool 2, and now he's like, he really he was integral into creating like this script, and and I like the fact that like he starts using more writer terminology. Like he's like we're missing crucial exposition here. And it's like only a guy that's just started like writing the scripts with everyone would be like, we need to use the word exposition like 3 times because he uses it. He uses that word like 4 times in the movie.
Yeah. Well, but again, that comes from being like a passion project for him, right? And like him finding creative value in doing this work with this character and like really embodying that character. And again, like it's just somehow normalized that Ryan Reynolds is hateable. I've never felt that way at all.
Me either.
I don't know. I mean, there was a point he popped up in a lot of cameos and things for a reason, like Bullet Train. It's like, why are you here? Why was he there?
I think everyone in that movie was asking that question.
Yeah, Brad Pitt every single day he was on set.
I had to watch when I was in high school. Like I had a friend that was really into like the early. This was like before Deadpool and everything, obviously. But like I had a friend that was into like his like rom-com fucking movies. So I've always kind of there's been part of me that's had a hatred of Ryan Reynolds' face from watching too many of his like early rom-com movies he was in, like Just Friends or whatever, where he's like fucking wearing the fat suit. And I watched it with like one of my friends that had definitely fucking friend zoned me in high school, and I was like, I hate this. I hate Ryan Reynolds.
I think what also is great about this movie is that, we got, the X-Men Origins Wolverine movie with a really terrible version of Deadpool with Ryan Reynolds in it.
The worst. Like they took everything.
The worst.
Everything that was the character was and completely screwed it up.
Yeah, and
so it was in that ways that adaptations so often do. But in this case, was just like, okay, you've taken every strength of this character and you just have decided not to show that and make into something else that it wasn't. And I think that this is one of the great redemption stories of bringing a character back and doing it right. And the fact that he wanted to do it was a labor of love. And I think that is so vital and so like important to like to latch on to with this. I mean, like, again, you don't even have to like the character to know that this is like a justice that is done, that he was able to make one of the movies and let alone like make a franchise out of him.
Especially with Hugh Jackman, because that was the whole point, really, because outside of Wolverine, he's really close with like a Spider-Man or something like that. Like it was about time that they finally had a movie together. But then when Hugh Jackman announced the retirement, I was like, I think if he's given a good script, Ryan Reynolds calls him, he will return. And guess what?
Well, those X-Men movies started good, but there's some pretty dreadful entries in that franchise.
I'm teeing up a clip with this, but it was Jackman that came up with like central concepts of how this movie would work. Like he wasn't even handed like a finished script. He was kind of there's like a story that I found that I'm gonna queue up, but I guess he left like a 17-minute, like when they finally got a script to him, he left like a 17-minute voicemail for them where he was like explaining all of like the notes he had for the character.
Well, I mean, I think that's great. Of course, he has like
some of the scenes and the dialogue. I was like, this is.
No, you can go. Sorry.
No, again, I was just disagreeing that like, of course, he's gonna have notes for it. It's like something more or less made his career, right?
Yes.
And like he's gonna care about the sanctity of the character. Doesn't want it just to be some throwaway thing. So go ahead.
It's really funny to me that when he's not doing like Wolverine, like or like X-Men movies, like a lot of what he's done is like musicals. And
he's a big musical guy. Yeah.
That's how we got famous in Australia was doing musicals. I mean, I was an X-Men fan first, but then when I was listening to Broadway stuff, I'm like, that's Hugh Jackman.
Not even like super masculine stuff either. Like it's kind of outside his wheelhouse in a lot of ways.
He also did Neighbors, which we just talked about with Renee when we were talking about Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, and that's where Guy Pearce got his start too.
That's true.
Right.
And some of the scenes and the dialogue, I was like, this is such a gift, but it was not, I witnessed it not just with me, with every single character that appears in this movie. It's as if you're writing for your own children. That's how it felt to me. And I want to make this distinction because the three of us are sitting here and these guys produced and wrote this movie, bled till there was no blood left. And by the way, still, as soon as we finish this, probably going to work on it some more.
Yeah.
So in terms of the movie teaching, the process of the movie teaching them how to move, but the edit, to the mix, to every part of it. And I publicly just want to say how grateful I am.
Well, he also just I know we won't belabor the creative part of it, but too long. But he also unlocked the biggest thing in the. He sent us a 10-minute voice memo.
It was more like 17 minutes,
which is a terrifying thing to get from anyone. You're like 17 minutes.
The story gets weirder, right? Because Ryan and I were working out together, which already is just like a really shaky premise to any anecdote. Like, what am I doing in that gym? But this is true. And we get this text on our chain that is this endless kind of 3-person text chain. And it's like a voice memo. And you click on it and we see it's like 17 minutes. We're like, the guy couldn't just call? He couldn't type? So we're literally like spotting each other, listening. We connected Hugh's voice memo to the Bluetooth speakers in the gym. Right. And it was Hugh scratching at, I'm happy with the script, but is there more?
But also taking all this experience he has, not just playing Wolverine, but as an actor, as a guy who's fronted movies in every genre you can think of. And whenever you write a movie like this, I think the important thing is to not write a comedy, is to write a great movie and then work on the comedy afterwards. So we were really just trying to structure a narrative that felt emotional and anchored and real. And he was scratching at something that was, at first a little opaque and then suddenly came into view.
In
and
like
then
minute
triggered,
12, minute 13, minute
triggered
14.
epiphany after epiphany after epiphany. So he really, so you do have a huge hand in writing the movie as well because of that. I think it unlocked this incredible, one of my favorite parts of the film and your character in the film is from that voice memo.
At some point I say, I am repeating myself and I'm going around.
I think at one point you said, if you guys are still listening to this.
That's right. And it was inarticulate, it was embarrassing, but great. I learned this from my acting teacher. When you first read a play or a script, write down everything you think because you never have those eyes again. Mm-hmm. And so I read the script and I just immediately did a voice note. And I didn't call because I wanted it just to be my without any questions. And literally 60 minutes of it is crap. But there's probably a minute in there that ends up because you're just going, and there's something in this. I don't even know what hang on, I'm just going to the bathroom. Hang on one sec. And anyway,
strong flow too, real loud.
Yeah, no, healthy flow.
Robust.
Robust flow.
Hi, Peanut. I'm gonna need you to come with me right now. Look, lady, I'm not interested.
With Hugh stepping into the role of Wolverine, you know how like when you watch somebody the first time they step into something that is that iconic, it's just like they just knew a language or understood something about that character that nobody else would have thought of or felt. Johnny Depp in Pirates of the Caribbean, that first one where you're like, is he drunk?
Right.
Like,
what
is this a Disney movie?
Seeing?
And is the lead character like hammered with gold teeth? You just go, no, you can't. But you realize that person has got their finger on something that is sort of perfect in its own imperfection. And I love that. But I notice you see that with you. Eddie Murphy in the Nutty Professor movies. Again, you'd be like, on paper, you'd go, well, that's nuts. I don't know if that's going to work. That's
but sometimes risky, what it's waiting for is a character is waiting for the actor who's meant to play them. And I will say, as the director on this, when you're on set every day and you're watching not only two great actors, but in the roles that they are somehow magic in, where it's tapping into parts of Ryan, parts of Hugh that are so intuitive and so singular and unique to them, that's why it's such a treat for us as an audience.
That hammers back to just what I was saying earlier, right? About like it being like the role he was like meant to play, basically. Like it's so great. I like hearing that, and this is also deeply funny to hear that interaction.
Also, too, like another thing too is I don't know if you guys know this, but like with the whole dog pool thing, like it looks like he was just like in love with her when like love at first sight. And he's like, I've had her tongue in my mouth quite a bit. It wasn't pleasant because he's just like.
And it's the rare case where the Dogpool, who I love, by the way, is actually freakier in the movie than even in the comic book, which is actually quite an accomplishment.
I looked up the Dogpool, like, comic version, and it's like, all right, that's kind of just like a kind of scary looking dog.
Yeah.
And this version of it, it's not as funny as this version of it, which is like, they literally scouted out one of the the dog.
The ugliest dog in Britain.
They shouldn't have that contest. They're going to hurt the dog's feelings. I don't.
But now she's a famous movie star now.
Like biggest dog star in the world. I think Keanu Reeves' band, of course.
Yeah. Also, Nice Pool seems to me like a creepy pedophile. Did you get those vibes?
Well, he was just Canadian.
Yeah.
I did not get those vibes. No.
It was just funny. I'm like, why did they give him long hair?
It does. It definitely
blows long hair.
It definitely blows me away that he was like Ryan Reynolds was willing to think up a scene where his own head explodes in front of him and covers him with fucking it takes a lot of, because I think that for at least for a lot of actors or like writers or something, like the concept of your own, like facing your own mortality, not just in life but like on screen to that fucking extent where you're like I couldn't do that. Like if somebody was like, hey, your head's gonna explode in this and I was in a movie, I'd be like, yeah, I'd have to take a step back from this. I don't. Of
all the Deadpools, he's the one who doesn't regenerate, I was like, this one probably doesn't do that.
I thought that was a great reveal, and it was because it was sort of like, why is this character here? And then I thought about it, and I was like, maybe he just didn't want to look, because he looks, the Wade Wilson. The reason why he wears the full face mask is because he looks jacked up.
Yeah,
he has this healing factor, but the cancer changes it so it's like, oh yeah, it's possible to die, but he looks like this horrible, horrific, scarred monster, basically.
Yeah.
And it's like maybe he just for once wanted to look nice.
Yeah.
Why not? It's this movie, right? It's like, okay, cool, But there is a thread for a while, and I don't remember all the details because it's been years, where like Deadpool suddenly looks normal again. And then it's like running around and is Deadpool, but he looks normal again, and everybody's like really weirded out by it. We're like,
so like Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, and it'd be like, I didn't expect you would be handsome, more or less, which is really funny.
Well, it's also like the concept of mutation, right? Like if you're going through all these different fucking like timelines, universes, or whatever, each mutation would have to be different. When
so it makes sense that he just is like
so there's just
a normal looking handsome dude. Yeah, exactly.
And he becomes nice because he's Canadian. I mean, you can't really, that's not a mutation. Well, it kind of is a mutation. Canada's kind of a mutation, but
yeah. Also, I feel like this whole movie was just a product sale for like the Honda Odyssey.
I got one right after I watched it.
They probably fucked after they fought. Let's be real here. You don't just camera pan down for no reason, okay? You're the one that I want from Greece.
There's a lot of wish casting about that on Letterboxd, by the way.
Also, too,
really,
well, he's pansexual, right? Like he's supposed to be.
Canonically, yes, absolutely, and that's you get a little bit of that in the earlier movies as well. That like, I mean,
he got a hard on,
right? Exactly.
Getting close to Wolverine,
which is really funny. And I tell people, oh, it's so homophobic. I'm like, have you ever hung out with a gay dude? Have you? Because let me tell you, it's almost not enough.
Also, I of everything, my favorite scene in the movie was in the Honda Odyssey where Wolverine, out of everyone, can make Deadpool shut up and not have a snotty comeback. He just said, I'm going to fight you now. And I'm like, oh, you quiet now, Wade?
Yeah.
I feel like the Honda Odyssey thing is a good reference to the fact that all these movies have obviously like the product placement thing. But like if you look at like even like Walking Dead on TV and stuff, like the cars, like you realize over time that like the cars they drive and a lot of them are literally just fucking product placement. And like people like have like these long blogs to them being like, these are the cars from The Walking Dead. So for them to just have a car that's kind of iconic in this and then just shit all over it, I think is pretty funny.
Yeah.
In the same way that doing the multiverse thing and like shitting all over it because they're entering like the MCU pretty much is pretty funny. Like just taking all of these things that honestly some of them kind of annoy me, like having like car product placement where it's really obvious kind of annoys me in a movie, but like it's funny.
Of course,
funny to like shit on that trope like that.
The most obvious example, and I'm almost surprised there wasn't a reference of the many references to the show Heroes, which they more or less should have called X-Men when it was out. But like there was a product placement car in there that featured so prominently. It was like, okay, guys, we get it. Like they gave you money to put this car in here, and it was so non-deftly done. Like it was like I was like, are they making a meta reference? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was like, are they making a meta reference to like the show Heroes? Because that's amazing if so, and I'm not sure if they were or not, but like, I wouldn't surprise me. Because that actually wasn't a bad show, but I was like, we get it. This car company gave you money.
Also, I don't know if you guys...
Walking Dead. Like, Walking Dead had the, I don't remember if it's like the Tucson or whatever the fuck it is that they were driving throughout the entire thing. And it's like, all right, like they're paying you. They're clearly paying you. Like, the only movie that did
this
it
car
well,
came out after the zombie apocalypse started. How did you get it?
The only show that I think actually adds something to that style of like fucking native advertising or whatever is Breaking Bad. Like they clearly car companies
all the product placement meth. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But one thing I noticed too when they were fighting is that they played a little snippet like, when they're changing the song with banging the head on the radio. Was like, oh, it's a song from The Greatest Showman.
Oh, that's
like,
where it popped
was
in. Oh, okay. Yeah, because I know it was on the soundtrack. I didn't know where it appeared in the movie there.
Yeah, they had I think like 2 songs referenced in the movie, but like I just like the fact meta Hugh Jackman stuff and
and they referenced Hugh Jackman's divorce, like the divorce happened while they were making the movie.
Oh yeah. Talk about ripped from the headlines. Let me tell you.
Yeah. Yeah, that was so funny. Also, too, I was really happy though that a lot of people are like, oh, it's cool that he's wearing a comic accurate Wolverine uniform, but where's the cowl at? And I'm like,
and then he puts it on, and you're like, that's awesome. Like, because other than, and by the way, so many shout outs for X-Men 97 in the comments, which by the way rules. Even if you're someone that like, I'm not into superheroes, I'm not into cartoons. Yeah, I get it. No. First of all, maybe the best depiction of Cyclops ever for anything, and it is amazing that they do.
But you like them.
Exactly. They have entire storylines that are huge. He is in amazing shape at this. That's a meta reference as well.
He's huge. He's Hugh Jackman.
He's huge Jackman. Yeah. They take entire like classic multiple comic storylines. And they manage to do it in a single episode and do it justice somehow. It's actually quite incredible. And honestly, like it's absolutely worth watching in every way, shape, or form if you're remotely interested in the characters or the form. Especially because the original cartoon was fine. It was fine.
Yeah.
And they more or less kept the canon and we're like, yeah, we're gonna step this up like times 20 creatively and like make this for adults, which is pretty incredible.
Yeah, we're finally getting good X-Men content out of Disney. Finally, after 5 years?
Right. Yeah. So anyway, I actually had somewhere I was going with all that, but I lost it after all the derivations. So
after all the variants.
After all the variants, yeah, exactly. TVA. I was happy that the TVA. I am a big fan of the second season of the Loki series, especially the first season's good, but like especially the second season, which they more or less could have called Doctor Who. But in a good way, like it's
by the way,
good.
They did write an episode of Doctor Who this season.
I know that. Yeah, I did know that. But it's Moorhead and Benson who.
I just can't not hear Tennessee Valley Authority every time somebody says TVA.
Yep.
Like
we heard the intro.
Yeah.
We heard the intro. Thanks for interrupting me on that. But yeah, the guys who did like the Endless and Chronic, something in their resolution, like real lo-fi sci-fi, like they're the guys that more or less made that happen. And it's crazy to me. And I mean crazy that nobody has like wised up that just give those dudes a big budget, let them do whatever they want. Because they make these movies on a budget of like the catering budget for a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
And they're really good. They're all really good.
Yeah.
Even when they're not like amazing, it's like, wow, that was like a good movie that I enjoyed watching.
And they do really well with criticism too, because like Russell T Davies actually had a criticism for about Loki season 2 there, because apparently he didn't think there was good representation of LGBTQ people in that season. Like, okay, fair. Okay. Like I'm not gay. He is. So I'll take that. And they wrote probably the gayest episode of Doctor Who, and it was great.
How is the new seasons? Is the new seasons pretty good? I kind of dropped off like after Matt Smith left because he was my doctor, and I kind of dropped off for a bit.
You missed because Capaldi had some great episodes, but I've enjoyed the new season's a little hit or miss, but there's been some good episodes.
Okay.
First of all, this could be its own podcast. I have a lot of thoughts about all of it. Jodie Whittaker, best Doctor with the worst writing. Capaldi, great all around. Shooty's really good, but has one of the worst episodes of Doctor Who I've ever seen in my entire life. And like, I'd say like the new season is about like 50% great and 50% okay.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what's funny is, speaking of the TVA, Conan, I honestly thought, like, my whole thought was like, where is Loki in all this? Like, he's supposed to be holding all of, like, the branches of, and I'm like, oh my god, he must be going through it right now.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
It seems like that guy would be down for a cameo, but there's enough. I mean, look, even just like you had, you have like Cowboy Deadpool and it's Matt McConaughey, right? Who has a mask on, so you don't even know it's Matt McConaughey. Amazing.
Come on, you know it's Matt McConaughey.
That voice, I was like, all that's missing is all right.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I'm surprised.
But also, like,
say the line, Matt.
Yeah, it was funny too because a lot of people thought Taylor Swift was gonna be Lady Deadpool, and I'm like, no, it's gonna be Blake Lively, and if there's like baby pool and kid pool variants, it's probably gonna be like their kids because only they could get away with swearing, I'm assuming. But like they also
literally based the comic character off of Blake Lively before Ryan Reynolds and them were together, which is crazy.
Yeah, like there's a whole thing about that. Yeah, the actual character who is a character from the comic books of the many different Deadpools.
Yeah, which I think that was also Rob Liefeld, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who gets put on blast in a visual reference that
Nathan Fillion?
Nathan Fillion's one of them.
Yeah. Headpool.
Yes,
he's the zombie Deadpool, which is from zombie Marvel Zombies, which they did do in the What If series, but like only like kind of like a bridge sort of version.
Well, they're doing Marvel Zombies the show now, so
okay.
Is Kirkman writing it? That'd be amazing.
Please.
Yes.
Elijah Wood's the head, right? He's the head. And then Rob McElhenney from
Rob McElhenney is a TVA agent, right?
Oh,
he gets murked really early on, which I knew that because I watched Welcome to Wrexham.
His team was also kind of cut down too. So
yeah. Also, there was a Wrexham Deadpool, which was
there's a Wrexham Deadpool. I forgot, which is one of the dudes. It's one of the kickers from the Wrexham AFC football team, which is amazing.
Yeah. And if you didn't notice, there was a Greatest Showman Deadpool too. Wearing the Hugh Jackman costume. Like,
and
I'm just gonna
Deadpool
assume,
2099.
Yeah, I'm just gonna assume that Gwenpool is not in the void. Like she's somewhere in a Spidey universe, doing her thing.
That's too much meta reference. Yeah, it would be too much meta referential.
Yeah, I just love the use of like a prayer in that movie. And there's also the video of like how Hugh Jackman's like fighting, like recording like his grunts and stuff, and I was like, oh, okay,
Did you notice that the fight scene between Deadpool and Wolverine, whenever they first get to the Void, is a recreation of the fight scene between Spider-Man and Flash Thompson and the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie?
Oh yeah, somebody put that side by side. Yeah, saw that.
Huh.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
The more
40-year-olds in high school fighting.
Yeah.
40-year-old high schoolers. Yeah, exactly. We talk about that all the time. We did a whole Josh. We did a whole series of like coming of age movies, and we kept bringing up the fact that like high school folks like Tobey Maguire.
Yeah. But it is.
I do love the Sam Raimi the Spider-Man though, especially the first two anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. Third.
We don't speak of that.
No. But now that speaking like the goal, like the Paradox wants to obliterate all the timelines and just do the TVA be in the void. Because again, this was like after Loki. Because remember CLI like from Loki season 1 episode 5 or whatever. But like even then, Cassandra's like I feel betrayed, so I'm going to destroy all the timelines. And I'm like, oh no, what's going on here? And then even like why? What stops the Deadpool?
One of those in my timeline.
I know. And what's funny is like what stops the Deadpools is Peter. I'm like, you guys should have known that. You said every Deadpool has a Peter, including him.
And really is Peter too in that costume.
He's the real hero of the movie, honestly. Let's be real.
I mean, it's Rob Delaney, right? I mean, like, what are you gonna like? I love that. So
cool.
First of all, one of the greatest gags in the second movie, which of course not what we're talking about,
Am I
is
being
that
catfished here?
Is that like you get like first Domino survives, of course.
Yeah,
because her power's luck, right? And everyone else gets smoked, and then there's the whole thing that was like you made it, and then like it's just so bleak, like it's trauma level humor. right?
Yeah.
But on a grander scale. So of course you got to bring him back. He's Rob Delaney. He's awesome. It's just he basically gets to be Rob Delaney in these films,
which is hilarious because he's not not comic accurate at all. But I still like he's perfect.
But every time he's on, he's got the nipple rings. Why? Nobody knows. But it's the whole thing.
That was my favorite thing is when they showed his actual headshot in Deadpool 2. He's like, "Am I being catfished here?" And I'm like, "Oh, whoa, he looks like a what?" I'm like, "Yeah, totally." Because I've interacted with him on Twitter a few times, and so because he's very much pro-Palestine, very socialist, very lefty.
Oh, he's a very progressive lion.
Oh, he's great. I love him.
But he also is very approachable. Like, we would probably get him on this show, and then not let him speak. Apparently.
Like we're doing to Josh right now.
Yeah, that's good. Speaking of which, hey Josh, you seen this movie? How you doing down there? Yeah.
I was gonna ask. I mean, do you think so? Did he take the spot that was probably initially for T.J. Miller? And then
I was thinking that too. Because T.J. Miller. That's another guy that's incredibly salty. That has been
Oh yeah, the guy who has had a weird Me Too claim against him,
and a bomb threat too.
Yeah, and a bomb threat.
First he got Me Too'd because he apparently sexually assaulted a 21-year-old, and then he called it a bomb threat, and he was sitting in jail after fucking calling it a bomb threat, and it's like, damn, he
also assaulted somebody at I don't remember.
But it's such a shame. It's such a shame because I don't know about y'all, but I thought Silicon Valley was brilliant. I thought that was a great show. And he was a big part of it.
A good part of Silicon. He was someone that was really, really on the rise. I feel like
and Weasel was such a great character in the first 2 Deadpool movies too.
Sure,
and it was all because of his performance. Which, if you've also read the comics, it's better than the comics, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, but it's too bad. Dude, literally did sexual assault. So fuck him.
Yeah.
I wonder if every Deadpool would a Dopender in their universe, because I think Dopender would have been also good Weasel replacement too.
Yes,
which is great because he's literally just the dude driving the taxi in the first movie, and he's just like, "No, you're in this for forever now. Congratulations!" Which is so in the spirit of the comic books too, where again, the many writers have just taken these ancillary nothing characters and had them no, they've been in 80 issue story arcs. Where you're like, what do we do? There was at one point it was the AIM guy, the guy from AIM, who was just a mediocre AIM agent, and he ends up being his sidekick for a while.
In the first Deadpool movie, by the way.
Oh, that's right. Oh, and I love that because it's one of those things where it's the whole thing of them making advanced ideas and mechanics, which Forrest, these are the guys that they wear these beekeeper outfits, more or less minions, right? Not minions from the movies, but from the greater. Except for they're science minions. They're doing an evil science, right? And so this guy is just a dissatisfied worker bee drone in AIM. And he ends up being, and Deadpool kills all the guys except for him. They ends up hanging out with him, becoming his sidekick for it's a really weird storyline, but it's awesome because he's the work conditions are terrible. They give you no benefits. It's a critique of it's labor critiques as through this science henchman dude.
Yeah,
which is deeply hilarious to me. I like that in that spirit, even though that has not yet been shown. I like that you have those kinds of things that are in there, and you get to see these just interesting characters put on display, and they're not just one thing, right?
Yes.
It's like his roommate. Her whole defining characteristic isn't just that she's blind, even though being blind isn't the name of the character name.
She can see cocaine. I'm a huge fan of Leslie Uggams.
I like the whole Dopender thing. I liked it from the beginning. They gave him a backstory, he has a beef with his cousin that took his girl. And then
his cousin just pops out of the back of the truck.
Yeah, and possibly fucking murders his cousin. And then he I like that they keep adding these.
Keep adding to it. There's all these layers.
And then he in Deadpool 2, he runs over that, the head of that, mutant reform school, and
he's trying to become a mercenary the entire time.
Yeah, and it's
apparently
funny.
he's a case for killing.
Yeah, Deadpool's like, I heard you for 30 seconds and I couldn't keep my face straight. He's like, I want some more. He's like, I bet you do, Brown Panther. And I'm like, oh my god. He always has the good nicknames for everyone. Like I mean, like it was when with Deadpool 2, of course, it's like we were like, oh my god, Thanos is playing Cable, and of course he called him Thanos at one point. I'm like, well, duh, that would make sense.
And because like they're such an odd couple, and done perfectly, just like that in the comics, which is like Cable is uber super serious, and Deadpool is just like pure mirth and malevolent mirth incarnate, right? And I was actually a little bit like, oh, I hope they get that right. And they totally did, and and Brolin did a great job, you know.
And they made it meta by putting Deadpool in the same shirts from Goonies, because several times he's dressed like Goonies characters.
Yeah. And the little fun facts is that Deadpool has his 2 katanas, and they're named after B. Arthur. He's a Golden Girls fan.
And the new one though, the initials are actually RB, D, and
S. The initials of all the Golden Girls, which I thought was cute.
Yeah.
I think Forrest left. I don't know.
Yeah, Forrest is like, I'm out of here with the Arthur talk.
Yeah, Golden Girls, miss me with that.
I left before the Golden Girls. Part of the conversation.
But what do you think, Josh? I mean, like you're a fan of these movies, right? Like you like all of them.
I still think the best one is the first one. For me, I just think that had such a passion project type feel in the way it got made, and to me, kind of the passion behind Ryan Reynolds, and that. And
like they even make jokes about not having a huge budget, right? We can't have Colossus fighting because we don't have the budget for it.
We don't have any other X-Men.
Right,
I think
exactly.
Budget on that was what, 80 mil, I think.
So basically, you get Colossus in the movie, which you really hadn't gotten at the time, but he just is sitting around talking, great.
Yes. And Negasonic Teenage Warhead, which is like the weirdest,
the coolest name ever. And then we slowly expand in the second one with, Yukio, and then a cameo with like the younger X-Men, which I'm like, does it have to be the younger ones though? I'm like, that again, this is why he always referenced like the timelines are so confusing. I'm like, thank you. None of the movies
the original budget for the first Deadpool was $58 million. I feel like such an odd number to have as a budget.
Yeah.
Like,
which is not. I mean, that's not a small amount of money. It's not Clerks money or anything. But like for a movie of that size, of which everyone was convinced was going to be a failure, they were convinced. Like they were like, oh, we'll make money internationally. Like it might meet its budget, but like nobody thought it was going to be a hit. And I was like, this is going to be huge because people were starving for it at the time. Because again, we hadn't had like comic book burnout like we have now, but like there definitely was like it sure would be cool if there was something that had like themes that didn't also have to appeal to 12-year-olds. And that's why I find
even the X-Men Origins, like the Wolverine one where they have the fucking like not a great movie. Even that one had 3 times as much as the budget. 100.
Yeah, absolutely.
Million.
And looked worse. I mean, like
looked way worse.
Yeah. I just rewatched it because I'd never seen it with the finished special effects. When it got pirated back in the day, I think the statute of limitations is up on this.
The film was criticized for its story, script, visual effects, pacing, and editing.
So everything then.
Yeah, pretty much. I'd say most of the cast.
Other than that, it's great.
I mean, my favorite X-Men movie is like outside the Deadpool ones. Days of Future Past and Logan.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Cool.
Yeah.
God, I had something for this.
I don't know. First Class.
We went right off of it.
That's my third. I think
they thought so. With Deadpool, like the original Deadpool, they thought that it was going to fail. Like, or at least was not going to be a success because the whole thing was you can't make an R-rated superhero movie, which sounds crazy now, right? But like that was the quote unquote conventional wisdom is that is not a thing that you could do, and also the fact that you can't do it with that character. There's no way that will be successful, and again they doubted Reynolds' passion for that character, and honestly, like the self-awareness of the fact that like Green Lantern did suck. Like he knew like what not to do in a lot of ways, and like it's one of the great sort of something that Hollywood rarely does is learn from its mistakes, and Ryan Reynolds absolutely does, and then he integrates the mistakes in as self-referential joking, which I think is wonderful, and like that's the way to do it.
And the funny thing is that's not even the first time that the X-Men have learned, the X-Men films have learned from their mistakes, because remember James Mangold did the Wolverine before that, and which is it's fine. It's nothing special or anything about it.
Yeah.
But like I think he learned a lot of lessons to make Logan so good. Much like how Ryan Reynolds learned all the right lessons from X-Men Origins Wolverine and gave us Deadpool.
Yeah, I don't know exactly like when this started, I guess, because I guess it's when they came up with the PG-13 rating. But like there's been such an excess of PG-13 movies. Like every single IP, like, any kind of like pitch, it's like, well, can you do this for as wide an audience as possible, which is PG-13.
Well,
and I feel like that's been like a very big I feel like it's been an industry-wide standard for a while now. That's really not great. Like, things should just be rated what they're rated.
Yeah, and the reason why PG-13 became a rating is because movies like Poltergeist were rated PG. They weren't too extreme for an R rating. It could have been a PG-13 movie. So I think The Karate Kid was the first PG-13 movie rated, because I think the PG-13 rating came in like 83, 84, because Poltergeist was like 82.
Yeah, it was 84 if I remember correctly, or 85, and it was Raiders was the first one.
Yeah, Raiders. Then
then they like make the rating specifically.
For that movie, yes.
For that movie, yeah.
But Gremlins was like the one where the conversation really started about that, because Gremlins kind of like skews the line of like, is it for little kids because Gizmo's adorable, or is it for adults because the Gremlins fucking kill people?
The Gremlins are totally terrifying. Yeah.
I guess Red Dawn was the first PG-13 movie on August 10th, 1984.
Okay.
Whew.
Fun fact.
Damn.
I don't know. I just looked it up because I was curious. But yeah, we have a question for Josh. When we get to the cameos in the second and third acts, what were your favorites, and how do you feel about their usage in this?
I think they use their cameos in this movie a lot better than in something like Doctor Strange 2, or something like The Flash. I think, when they did the whole big moment in the Void, the biggest pop, I saw it 2 times. The biggest pop was always Wesley Snipes' Blade was always.
Which, oh my God, we've talked for an hour and we're just now mentioning that goddamn Blade is in this movie.
Yeah.
Amazing.
The reaction, I mean, I was like, oh my God, but people were like screaming and just like, yeah. And I'm like, I could tell there's a black audience in here because they probably heard that Wesley Snipes is in this movie.
Yeah, it was pretty big. Yeah, the one that didn't get any reaction was the Elektra one. That didn't get really much reaction, I think. Yeah,
really. The one for me is the Calverine one. No one was like, okay.
I got a little something from my audience. I got a little something there.
Okay.
Yeah.
There weren't by the time I saw it this week, there really weren't that many people in the movie theater. So I wish I had gone and seen it sooner, like
with
earlier.
Experience.
So I could have found an audience and gauged the reactions.
Oh, the Chris Evans fake out was obviously the biggest reaction by far.
Yes.
In my audience. But again, I saw it like 20
Thursday
hours
night.
after it opened or something along those lines.
I saw it Thursday night because I was like, I'm like, I cannot avoid spoilers. I'm seeing it Thursday night, whatever. But
what I was saying is that got over big time. Like that hit exactly like how I could imagine. Like wow, wouldn't that be awesome if we just did this quick swap?
Yeah, because he's wearing blue, he's wearing a thing, so it's like, oh my God, he's a Captain America variant, because Johnny Storm had shorter buzz cut hair and no facial hair, right? So we didn't really think much of it. Yeah. And then Flame On, we were like, oh,
it kind of has like the Nomad, his like costume in the fucking Captain America, like the Nomad ones or whatever, where it's like kind of the shawl that he's wearing, and that I feel like that hid the whole the Johnny Storm costume really well,
which also fits with that Mad Max sort of like setting as well. That's totally fun.
Yeah. Question. I had a
Josh,
question. Just about like the Void. How do people? Because maybe I think they explained it in Loki, but how do people get to the Void? Like, what's the reason for them being there?
Timelines are getting erased.
Yeah, like it's sort of like it's implied that like when they zap them out, to like they erase them from existence. The like sometimes they end up there.
Because like, why do they particularly pick them?
Time jump.
Okay.
Yeah. Same thing with Cassandra, is that they're like, we know she's already evil, so we're just going to put her there.
So this is funny. I didn't want to say until you did, but I love seeing Blade again, especially after the bad blood between Wesley and Ryan and Blade 3. When I reviewed Blade 3 on Letterboxd, I said, this whole movie plays way better if you just think of the Ryan Reynolds character as Deadpool.
Yeah. Also, when we thought
because he's deeply. Hold on, can I finish the point, please? That was like it's also funny because like they almost make a joke about that within the movie, but like his character is so annoying in there, and also. I think the other thing I said, it was cool that they got Blade to do a cameo in Blade 3 as well.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of like there's a Patton Oswalt bit about this because Patton Oswalt's in that film if you can believe it, and he's got a whole like bit about like how Wesley Snipes behaved on there. He was basically not having a good time with that director or being on the set or doing much of anything.
Yeah, and I also love the fact that in that movie they actually had to CG Wesley Snipes' eyes opening up at the very end because he wasn't going to open them.
Yeah. I think it was funny when he's like, "I thought you were retired," and he said, basically the word. And he's like, "Oh my god, I'm already in the void. I'm not trying to get canceled by the woke mob or whatever." And I'm like,
well, and they do. There's a great meta reference about them.
I saw somebody on Threads that was very, very angry that they used that word in Deadpool.
They made good meta reference about their attempts to make a new Blade, which has been like years in the making. With
looking at him at the camera like
Ali. Yeah, like which is sort of like I was like, all right, that's like one of the most egregious third wall breakings, but it's justified because how long have they been working on that goddamn movie?
5 years.
5.
Yeah,
5. Yeah, Josh. When do you actually think there's going to be a Blade movie? Because it's like they could have maybe done a cameo with Mahershala Ali to like prep people for that, but. Like
well, his
fingers.
voice was in Eternals. His voice was in that. That's about it.
Oh, that's right. Like at the it's like a post credit scene or something, right?
Yeah. When the Black Knight gets his sword, you hear Blade.
I forgot all about that because it's sort of like that movie would have been fine to like there's no post credits for this. It's enough. We got through it, everybody. Like
I just found the movie so boring.
That's what I'm saying. We got through it. Congratulations. Here's the post credits. It's you be given award, the movie watcher.
you know a movie's fucking not hitting well when the most attention that anyone gets is like Kumail Nanjiani's whole like transformation.
There's another dude that got like wild ripped for them. And it's like, man, you got ripped for the Eternals.
Well, supposedly supposed to be rumored to be Booster Gold, supposedly.
Oh, wow.
So that's the rumor.
That'd be good.
Yeah. That's what I heard too.
His getting jacked though, like he has like his cheeks are like sunken cheeks now. And it skeeves me out. I don't
got that
like
buccal
that.
fat removal.
Yeah.
Do you think with Hugh Jackman, do you think it's a little extra stuff kind of going on there? Like there's that shirtless pic of him, you know what I mean? You think it's
I mean it's gotta be, right? Like he's with his age and stuff. Like
55,
I don't think it's really be. So. I mean, like, look, like, what's he doing all day? What's he got to do? He doesn't have like a job to go to. He can just sit there and like sit with his personal trainer. And
he's also a former, he's a former gym teacher.
Yeah, and I mean, he's a background.
Also,
and also he's recently divorced, as we all learned together.
Yeah.
Also, like, don't forget he's, not like say Christian's, what's his name, Batman.
Bale,
Robert Pine.
Yeah, Christian Bale. Who like keeps like losing and gaining weight.
Oh yeah, totally gaining.
He's always kept himself in good shape. So like he's dehydrating in this movie, but like who doesn't in the movie?
Yeah, I'm kind of over the dehydration, but at the same time, I'm like, ooh, abs.
I saw this clip of
and that's why they do it. Yeah,
I saw this clip of somebody talking to Hugh Jackman on the red carpet, and it turns out it was like somebody who in Australia had been one of his students when he taught gym, and he like recognizes them. And the guy's asking him a question. He's like, hey, I was your gym teacher. You don't recognize, like, you don't remember that? And he's like, are you still keeping up with your workouts? I want to hear it from you. And I was like, damn,
amazing. Called out.
That's great. Yeah, it's like a baller move to be like, look, I'm a star, but I want to hear about you. I want to hear how your workouts have been going.
Yeah.
He said he like work out like 6 days a week and then take a certain amount of calories, and I'm like, God, that's a lot of work, but you did it, dude. Thank you. I also love when his shirt rips open. Deadpool's like,
it makes a lot of sense why he wouldn't have wanted to keep being Wolverine necessarily, unless like a really good movie came across, because it's got to be so much to fucking maintain that body.
Yeah.
Like, I want to let myself go. It's been 25 years of
well, I want to.
Well, that's that. They made the reference like he's let himself go since a divorce, And then at the end, it's like, he retired, but Disney brought him back. He's gonna do this till he's 90. And there was a TikTok of Hugh Jackman he shared on his Instagram of like him like here until you're 90, and he's like,
So you think he is coming back for maybe Secret Wars? Probably Secret Wars. Probably definitely.
Why was Thor crying? I know why. I know why Thor was crying.
Well,
want to hear why?
It depends on no, but if you want to, yeah. Like what? Why do you think it? Why do you think it is?
Deadpool's going to be in Secret Wars.
Okay.
And he's going to fake dying in front of Thor, thinking he's, that's why Thor's crying, and he's going to be like, "Psych, I can't die."
All right, that's good.
I mean, I feel like it's got to be more dramatic than that, because they're like, I feel like they've got to write it in to be more dramatic than that, because it's
Look at how he died in Deadpool 2. Technically, he was like, "Before I go."
But then why is Thor crying? Thor doesn't know that Thor doesn't know
yet.
at that point.
He just meets him.
Well, fucking Chris Hemsworth is like, "I could keep secrets too, Ryan." I'm like,
he's close enough with him, but like for that to be the reason, he's close enough with him that he knows that he's upset about him dying, but not so close that he doesn't know that he can regenerate. I don't know. I feel like it's got to be something else.
I think wasn't it just a scene from Thor 2, right? And then they swapped
the
it.
Dark World.
Oh,
they just removed Loki from it, but it was so funny.
Everyone forgot that movie existed, so they stole a scene from it.
Yeah, finally we get Doctor Who in a Marvel movie, and everybody forgets about it.
Ooh,
I love how he was a big Captain America fan. He was like, "Yes."
Good.
Another scene, another moment is that where he's like, "Suck it, Fox. I'm going to Disneyland."
Yeah. I think you're more likely. So first of all, it's going to be interesting to see what lessons are learned from this film, right? Like first, because as we all know, Hollywood likes to learn the wrongest lesson possible. Mm-hmm. But I think to a certain degree, Ryan Reynolds is, and by extension Sean Levy, they're going to get blank check status, like big time. Like they could do Deadpool kills the Marvel universe, like for the on the real next time, and it would be okay because I know it would make like $1 bazillion.
Yes.
But again, the lessons that was originally from the first Deadpool is, you can do a superhero movie for adults. So that beget Logan, which is great, and like one of the great representations of the genre, and that's. I think that's wonderful, but I'm just curious what it's going to be for this one. And remember, we talked about when we did Everything Everywhere All at Once of like, hey, what's like after it became like a big success, because again, we were early on that train, that's like, what lessons are they going to be learned? Are they going to let in like weirder storylines, or are they just going to try to like lean into like these facile aspects of what make this movie and like make their version of that? Because historically...
And we got the Flash.
Right, exactly.
Don't remind me. The CGI cameos, no less.
Yeah, not great. Yeah. But that's an example of like how to do it wrong, right? And how to do it where it's just like, it feels like
Although just shout out to George Clooney for actually showing up for that one, because that was a great cameo.
Yeah.
Also, I know people who prefer The Flash over this movie, and I'm like,
what's wrong with them?
Who hurt
you? That's a cry for help right there.
Yes.
They want to see Ezra Miller do more crimes. They're like,
it really is amazing how many crimes he did.
We pretend that there aren't people that are pro-crime, but maybe there are.
So I guess what I'm driving at with all of it is I feel like so Ryan Reynolds is someone that has like, as an actor, has like charisma for days, but for certain people has negative charisma, where they just hate the sight of him, they hate that he's around, hate his existence, don't want anything to do with it, et cetera, et cetera. So how does that translate for something like this? And again, what does that mean for like filmmaking going forward? Because universally, I think everybody has agreed, like, there's been very few W's in the Marvel column since Endgame.
Wait,
like,
I think
they ruined Ant-Man. They fucked up like the thing that was like, this is like great because it's like low stakes, and like, oh no, let's add in all this cosmic. I was like, did you not understand what made these movies good?
I think it's been steadily great since Endgame. I don't know what you're talking about, Conan.
Fair enough. But like what are the lessons that are going to be learned? Right? Are they going to be able to, other than like do a background check on your actors? Too soon? Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, but I think that.
Well, hold on. Josh, do you have something?
Oh no, I was just going to say. I mean, that guy, the Kamala Khan actor, is going to be in Daredevil: Born Again, and then there's
she's great.
Yes.
No, the actor who plays the father. And then there's some stuff about him that's not too savory.
Sexting minors, apparently.
Allegedly, I mean,
Jesus H. Christ, what's wrong?
Jeez, I love that show, and I love the cast, and I hate to hear this.
It was so like wholesome and yeah.
But I mean, allegedly, I haven't really looked into it much, but
yeah.
Well, this took a dark turn, didn't it?
I do. Well, let me lighten it up a little bit. I do think that hopefully Marvel. I mean, I doubt Marvel will learn, but I feel like they're trying to rewrite with the Doom movie and then the Secret Wars and something like that. I did hear Kevin Feige say that Deadpool Wolverine is the introduction into like the X-Men, the new X-Men era for Marvel, and I'm like, oh, thank God, because. We got to get it better, guys. We got to get it better.
Bringing back your favorite director. No kidding. That guy's not coming back.
He's in Israel right now, by the way.
Oh, that's so fitting. That's that's great.
The I gotta say though, like the Marvel era since 20th Century Fox and the Disney buyout, without X-Men has really, the only good thing out of it is we got Kamala Khan, who's a great character. But like beyond that.
And now
minimizing the X-Men has really kind of hurt.
Well, what she's Middle Eastern now.
It's really hurt the stories overall and the comic side, and there hasn't been lots of great stuff to mine from. So it's exciting that we're finally starting to get this stuff back, because there is a lot of great X-Men stuff we have not seen, like a good version of the Dark Phoenix saga. Like,
oh my God, don't be.
But you can't just do that straight away. You got to build up to that shit. It's
I
think we just stick with X-Men 97 and be happy that we have that. Like, cause it's I don't know. Like and I say that as like it's X-Men was always my favorite, and I thought that those first couple Bryan Singer movies were great. Like, it's too bad that guy is like one of the worst dudes ever to like walk the face of the planet. And like, it's been hit or miss. There's ones that I was like, I'm not gonna watch that. That looks terrible.
Yeah.
That's the Dark Phoenix is one of those. It's just gonna make me mad.
I wasted seeing that movie.
Yeah, you would have to be wasted to see that movie, I would think. But here's kind of what I want to do to reset on this. Like, we're talking about this in terms of all the context, superhero movies, et cetera, et cetera. I think. Oh, I remember what I was going for now for a while earlier. Is that I think this plays even if you're not immersed in that culture. One of the reasons why, it's like, think of like the Marx Brothers, where it's like a gag a minute. There's like the Margaret Dumont character. In this case, I guess Hugh Jackman would be Margaret Dumont. And there it's like quip, and then like it's set up in such a way that like you're probably not gonna. Every joke's not going to land the first time you see it, but you can be like, oh, I didn't catch that time or whatever. And I think like there's some people that just like anything that isn't, I don't know, like elevated cinema, like suddenly they're like, oh, it's just for, teenage boys. And I'm like, this is way smarter than that. I'm sorry. Like, to do like, this is like one of the best like meta-contextual satires on the industry since like The Player, frankly. I mean, it really does a great job of just excoriating everything that is frustrating and annoying about these movies in the past 10 years and actually being a good example of when they can work at the same time. That's an incredible accomplishment.
I love that they have 21st Century Fox in the fucking void.
That's so great. So it's just that was one of my favorites. Yeah. How are you going to be mad at that? That's so clever. And I don't know. I think people just don't see the forest for the trees for it, or worse, they just kind of feel like they know what it is, and they like form an opinion without seeing it and just don't like give it a chance. And I don't know, whatever. It's the biggest movie in the world. Like, I guess it's okay for people not to like it, but like, it's a shame because I think it is very smart. And is it stupid as well? Yes, it's also very stupid, but it's also very smart. And sometimes in the same sentence, and that's some of the best comedy in my opinion. At least
It's funny to me because like the way that Logan was kind of like the way that they kind of rolled that out was like, oh, it's a superhero movie, but it's elevated cinema.
Yeah, and, right. Which Logan was, right? The movie Logan was that.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying like that's the way that they rolled out, Logan.
Well, I mean, technically they did because they said it was Old Man Logan, which is not Old Man Logan.
Right, but I'm saying that's the way that like when they rolled it out, when they talked about it on like in media, like, and I think that's the way that James Mangold sees it, like a elevated cinema version of like a Marvel inspired movie, right? And So I think it's really funny that from the beginning of this movie, bringing back Wolverine, and it's the worst version, like the worst Wolverine variant.
Yeah,
it's pretty
absolutely.
funny that they absolutely shit on that. Like within that first fucking sequence, like within the first few minutes of it, like they completely just kind of destroy that.
Yeah,
like he's fighting with his skeleton, amazing.
Yeah. And then he got one ass and another ass. He's like, I'm sorry, being a Wolverine is hard. And I was like, oh, the second time I saw it, people were actually getting up and dancing the bye 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 dance. And I was like, I might as well get up and do it too. Why not?
Wow.
Yeah. It was an event. We had a Deadpool cosplayer. Like, it was pretty cool.
It's better than Blank Man.
I haven't seen that in years. I'm gonna have
Blank
to
Man
rewatch it
reference. All right, yeah.
Blank Man.
I will be watching Blank Man now. So thank you for the $2.
Yeah. What happened to Damon Wayans? Kidding.
Look, doggo. It's Dave.
But no, I mean going back to that larger point, right? Like for me, it does everything it's supposed to do. Like and
everyone
it
has their
works.
own. Everyone's starting to get their own personal dog pool, and the
He's a beauty, though.
Personal dog pool. But I think that it pulls off a unique thing that, again, the only thing I think of in recent memory is Barbie, where it's like there's no reason this should work. Like this shouldn't work.
This is Barbie for men.
Yeah. Oppenheimer can't even be Barbie for men at this point. It has to be Deadpool.
Top Gun Maverick Barbie for men?
It came out the week before Barbenheimer, and I was like, oh man, this movie's only gonna last a week, and it did.
Top Gun Maverick, it did not just last a week. That's
Top Gun Barbie. You gotta combine
it was like the biggest movie in the world for people that would never watch this show. Like it was, it did great numbers, and it's not even terrible. Yeah, I mean, what did you think that was gonna be? That's what it was. The most unbelievable thing is that Tom Cruise could pull Jennifer Connelly. Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah. Top Gun Barbie is how we solve the gender war. They put that out, and then everyone's like, you know what? Maybe we reconcile as genders.
Also, I think
City or Two Wolves.
I think it would be
Maverick
smart.
and Barbie.
I think it would be smart to bring back Vanessa because technically she's supposed to be copycat. Her technically she.
And
is
Rita
a
Bachman's awesome. She's great. Like I've been a fan of her since Firefly.
Yes.
She was like the best part of that Homeland show, which had some regrettable aspects to it. But like,
And Greenland, that
the
movie
terrible
with the-
V show she was in.
She was the best part of that V show as well, which was which again.
No, she was the best part of like the Stargate jumps the shark. She shows up. She's great in that.
Yeah, like the V show, which was great except for the script and the plot and the cinematography and etc.
everything.
See that earlier thing
reference. Yeah.
But she's great. I mean, and she's like definitely there's room for that. I did see a critique of the film that, like, considering that how much of a stake in Deadpool saving his universe is put on like the people that are in his life that he cares about, that like there wasn't as much effort put into showing that. But it's also like, do you need that? Really? Like
movie.
You also want
there's two movies before this that like kind of show that.
I feel like it's just assumed by the fact that there's like two movies before it that you can see that. Like the second one, he's upset about his fucking girl getting fucking capped for the entire movie, and like
yeah. So it's like,
and
do you
want
want
family?
Do you want a complete standalone, or do you want a franchise? And why are you like blaming it for being the thing you don't want for both of these things? I don't get that critique.
When are they gonna get Vin Diesel to come into the world of Deadpool so he could be like, so he could tell that you can teach Deadpool that there's nothing more important than family.
Oh, right, exactly.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but he only has to do it as Groot though.
It's Deadpool and Wolverine and Furious. You know?
Blade was in this movie, and that was awesome. Remember we talked about that 2 hours ago? I never thought we would get to see Wesley Snipes as Blade again. And
there's only going to be one Blade.
And I think it's interesting that at least the first two Blade movies have kind of hit like people realize, oh, these are pretty good movies.
Everybody
and
forgets the TV show. Everybody just forgets that.
Oh, that's I've been trying exactly. I forgot about that. Yeah.
You know, honestly, I'm actually a soft defender of the TV show, but I'm not going to talk about it here.
There you go. You gotta subscribe to his Patreon content for that.
They're like, Andy has earned self-control.
But like in the way that the Blade movies, especially, are so not what the MCU is, right? Like in the way, like it's very. They hit very differently. I don't know if last time anyone has seen them, but like it is something where like no, it's great to get that. First of all, to get that acknowledgement of the fact that like there was no superhero movies, especially for Marvel superheroes. Like you could do Batman, that was it when those movies came out.
Yeah,
like and it was like that was the only success story.
I mean, did you see any of the other movies before that? Because there was the so bad it's good. David Hasselhoff led Nick Fury movie. That there is the
I doubt that it's so bad it's good, but yeah,
it has its moments. So I'll just put it there. There's that Reb Brown starring Captain America movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, then you had the Hulk's TV show.
Oh yeah, that's what like in like
with
Thor's
Lou
in it
from the 70s.
Lou Ferrigno Hulk, but like there's a spinoff that has Thor, and he like throws the hammer, he has to go run and go get it, which is really funny. But
by the way, why wasn't he in the movie? Because I love that actor. He's a gem.
That would have been awesome. Yeah,
he just doesn't need to do anything. Just
but that's also like you watch and have like a narrative, or you watch and be like to do the Leo DiCaprio meme at it.
Yeah, I mean, he could just stay standing there. That's all
couldn't be in this movie because he was too busy being the dialect coach. That
for Channing Tatum.
Well, speaking of Wesley Snipes, guess
he's coming
who's
next week.
He's coming up next
Guess
week.
who holds the Guinness World Record for playing the superhero the longest now? Replacing Hugh Jackman.
Wesley Snipes.
Yep.
I wonder.
It still counts because no one has replaced him as Blade yet. So
that's true.
Oh, okay. It counts.
All right.
Yep. Yeah. Everyone's like, but he hasn't been Blade since like years. I'm like, it still counts because no one else has played his character.
Yeah, not Sticky Fingers.
Yeah. I guess TV show doesn't count. I guess they ignore TV shows. Okay.
Yeah.
What TV show? What are you talking about, Josh?
Okay, Josh, did you have something you wanted to chime in on?
Oh, I guess to your point when you was talking about the larger,
I'm trying, man,
kind of thing there about the like where does this go? What does the MCU take the Deadpool and Wolverine from this forward? And I don't know. I've seen some people talk about how they go like, well, this is finally the MCU is back and they're listening to the fans and they're doing what we want them to do. But I don't know. I feel like this is pretty much the same thing we've gotten pretty much in the multiverse saga with like No Way Home and things like it's references, jokes. It just turns out that it just works better because like Hugh Jackman hasn't been Wolverine in 7 years. We haven't seen a Deadpool movie in 6 years, so it's a little bit better because of that. And this is the only superhero movie coming out this year, right? I think this.
Thank goodness, jeez.
What a breath of fresh air.
There's also that. So
and there's massive superhero fatigue too, right? Yeah. So I would give less credit to the MCU, who again really didn't have anything to do with it, other than like allowing the use of a couple aspects of intellectual property, and more be like, I think you could see this turn into a series of like those Bing Crosby, Bob Hope movies, like The Road to like whatever Morocco, Zanzibar, Singapore, etc. You could more or less do that with these two guys. Right? Yeah. You could put them in anything. That's one of the reasons why I keep mentioning the Marx Brothers. Like, it doesn't matter what their characters' names are in these movies, whether it's like, Duck Soup or, Night at the Opera, whatever. Like, it's the Marx Brothers. They're the Marx Brothers. They're doing Marx Brothers stuff. Like, what?
Yeah, this is better than when they tried to do it with Groucho and Wolverine. I just felt like it was a little too early for that one.
But again, I think that could work. Like, and again, it has to be done with the same level of care and attention, and kind of straddling that line between, you can't get like. There is too much meta referential, and there is like too much people like would burn out on it if you do it wrong. But I think there's such care and attention put into this that, like, again, everything like Blake Lively showing up as Lady Pool, right? Amazing. The actual inspiration for the character who also happens to be Ryan Reynolds' wife. Amazing. Fantastic.
Time, baby.
No. Yeah, there's like there's just so many eerie parallels between his real life and like Deadpool.
Although I think that one's a little more intentional because if I remember correctly, Liefeld came back to the character after Ryan Reynolds returned to Deadpool. If I remember the timeline correctly.
No, the timeline is that it was based off of her before he was with Blake Lively. Like it's a total coincidence.
Because he like Gossip Girl, I think, right? Is that like what it was?
Which is where the 207 line bone line that came from, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
And then he mentioned what. Then there was a point where he and Wolverine were so close, and then the guy, he's like, "I'm telling Blake," and I'm like, "Wait, what?"
but I mean, do you see what I mean? That I think you could. This isn't. I don't feel like it's a win for the MCU for this. I feel like this is specifically like
X-Men,
the creative more. I mean, like, look, if anybody needs a win, it's the X-Men franchise. But like, I think it's a win for Ryan Reynolds, really, and like this creative brain trust.
They just let anybody in there, you know.
Apparently, yeah, they don't. They certainly don't seem to do a background check. That's my third background check joke this show, by the way. But and I'm talking about sexual predators.
Yeah. Yeah.
What am I going to say? I mean, this is canonically established, right? I mean,
remember Ryan Reynolds was married to Scarlett Johansson for a few years? That was interesting.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's how old everyone's getting, guys.
I feel like
it's not good.
I feel like it's even crazier that she's now married to Colin Jost. Like,
yes.
From Decemberists, right? Yeah.
She's
and
the guy from SNL, the guy that does she's married to the guy that does the weekend updates on it.
That's a totally different guy.
Yeah.
Bit of a downgrade. But yeah, I mean,
Colin Malloy is I was thinking of. That's a wildly different dude. My bad. Don't even look anything like each other.
Let's talk about Matthew McFadden for a second, because I was like, oh, it's the dude from Succession, but also too at the same time, I'm like, oh, it's Mr. Darcy from Pride and Prejudice, because that's what
I find it impossible not to root for Matthew McFadden in anything he's in, because I spent so much time rooting for Tom Mom's games.
And his British accent, so he's like and I'm like, oh, he does sound like a villain.
But wait, isn't he actually British, or is he American? I don't know.
He's British.
This dude.
He's British.
Yeah.
So it's not really an accent. Okay, so it's like
it's just how he talks.
It's just how he talks. It's just his voice.
It's actual voice.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, it's very hoity-toity British, like evil, and I'm like, okay, I could dig this. But of course, like this.
Let the record show. ...
And of course, this takes place after Loki season 2, so Paradox is still like he's like a rogue employee who just wants to wreck everything. And then Cassandra's like, well, since you betrayed me, I'm gonna wreck you too. Before I flick my bean to the Enya playlist,
the box set, and not to Andy you do. But I'm only saying that because what's Deadpool's reaction? There's an Enya box set,
yeah,
which is amazing. It's like, first of all, it's a great line. And an evocative image, how many Enya jokes have showed up in cinema? It's not
especially
on the
Deadpool.
Level like in Barbie where there's a pavement reference at the Ken hangout, the Casa.
If anyone's gonna be like the biggest Enya fan, it has to be like just some weird bald lady in the
yeah, exactly.
Or a Hobbit, because she did all the music for the Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
Oh.
Did she really? Oh,
she sang the like.
Oh, that's right. I should know. We literally just covered that freaking.
I'm starting to realize that I have an attraction to non-binary people named Emma Corrin. Obviously Deadpool and Wolverine, and then Emma Darcy from House of the Dragon. I have a thing. It's. I don't know what's going on with me, but they're hot.
Okay. All right.
Like Blake Lively, according to the chat.
Yeah.
I don't think that's just the chat that's according to.
So yeah, if you're non-binary and named Emma, contact Kristina.
I was gonna say that is such a conversational dead end. Silence is the only acceptable response. Frankly, it's like, all right, fair enough, acknowledged. I don't know, like, what do I say here? I talk about what's the character, the TVA character, the boss.
Mr. Paradox.
What's her? No.
The woman. She's like a number, isn't she?
Yeah.
B15?
Yeah.
I like her and Rob Delaney's whatever.
I believe
is,
women
great.
are more than just numbers.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's like I just love the fact that when Rob Delaney shows up, you can totally see his package, shifting a little to the left there. And so when she sees him, like what she's looking at. She's just like, oh, hey.
Mm-hmm. Get it, girl.
Yeah, which nice to see that character actually have a little not be in service to Loki, just having do something for herself.
Yeah, a cameo.
Yeah, I don't really. I mean, I don't know.
Just seeing him trying to hold everything together would have been like oh wow, look.
Yeah. I think it works. I mean, it's a weird, it's kind of nice, weird moment, right? Like, oh, okay, cool. I think that we have a lot of Deadpools in this movie, and we knew that was coming, but I love that there's Easter eggs within Easter eggs with them. Again, like the Wrexham AFC kicker being like in the Wrexham Deadpool. Greatest
showman.
Especially if you also know that other show. It's like even better. You're like, oh man, it's that guy. That's awesome. That guy's the best.
Yeah.
And like again, we mentioned, you know, the broad strokes. And Nathan Fillion is Zombie Pool, you know, great. Awesome.
Yep.
That's awesome. That's great. There's all kinds of again, and you're giving cameos to people that have like full face masks on. You know, like, which is almost funnier, right? Like like the fact that Rob McElhenney is in this film, but as a TVA agent, it was great. You know, everything about it's done well. Is what I'm saying.
It's like Daniel Craig as the stormtrooper in what is it? The
Last Jedi.
Yeah, Last Jedi. That's it.
Yeah. My favorite moment though was when, of course, Nice Pool's head explodes because I guess Lady Pool was shooting at him, and at the end, like Deadpool's trying to like give him CPR as his head's blown off. He's like, God damn it.
It's like, I don't know. I found it like impressive that he was willing to have his own head explode and then like cover himself with fucking gore and like face his own mortality that way. I mean, I guess it helps that his wife who fucking blows his own.
Who does it? Yeah. It's pretty funny.
He died for murder, you dumb fuck.
I think, you know, we haven't really talked about the actual plot too much, but I love that it's Jon Favreau. I was trying to think of his name. As Happy Hogan, who of course people forget, like directed directed Iron Man. Like he brought the MCU into being, right? Like people forget. It's like, no, he directed those movies. Like the first one anyway, and like.
And the second one.
Iron Man 3.
Okay.
What is that?
All right. And there's kind of like a pretty good meta reference in that too. You know, where like it's done well, and it's kind of like does a good level set for, okay, this is, you know, get out now if this isn't your deal.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like it's really happening. He's like Deadpool's really in the MCU now. This is crazy. Like we never thought this would happen.
Did you hear that he almost made a meta joke in Spider-Man: No Way Home?
No.
When Happy Hogan meets Matt Murdock, there was going to be a line that says, "You seem familiar, but you seem a little foggy."
I
also like the idea that he's the one that like you know, like Iron Man doesn't want to have a meeting with someone, so they send that guy out there to like, you know, like,
he's exactly, he takes
he's like, is he was like, is he gonna make a cameo? And Happy's like, no. And I'm like, oh well, whatever.
And then he masturbates.
Yes.
Learning what that was.
Yeah.
It's like, but Happy handled him well though.
The Avengers do background checks apparently.
Yeah. All right. Fair. Yeah. Good point.
Yeah.
And good callback. Was it Ray Park who plays Toad? It was cool seeing a character that like is just quintessentially that guy. Like, oh yeah, that guy. And it's like, you know, he gets got in a very entertaining way. That's a.
I guess
like,
they're not bringing the Mario Brothers into the MCU.
Pyro got more airtime than I thought he would. That was interesting.
Yeah. I always liked the actor who played him in the movies. I thought he was great, and it's so nice to see him return in here and actually have like not really an arc, but pretty close to one.
Yeah. He's like, geez, just ask sometimes. I'm like, yeah, be normal, not weird, Cassandra.
Right, exactly. I think that there's a certain quintessential loveliness to all of the B tier characters, like your or also Rand's has-beens never was in the case of Gambit. Blade, Jennifer Garner's Elektra, et cetera, kind of having their moment and like turning that into like motivation for the characters, but also being kind of like, also they did the best they could with what they were given. Some of them were given things that were better than others. Some of them just had rotten timing. There's all these reasons why these things didn't work for them. And I love that like Jennifer Garner pulled a freaking Linda Hamilton to get in as a woman. I think she's in her like 50s, right? That like is again, lots of credit given to Hugh Jackman, but good on Jennifer Garner for going for it as well.
It's like with Andrew Garfield in the Spider-Man No Way Home. It's like, he wasn't really in, the best Spider-Man movies either. And, it gave him a shot to be like, I can do this again and do it right.
You're right. It is very much along those same lines where it's like, oh, you got to be in a good movie doing this finally.
I think that's the point of the multiverse saga at this point. It's just to bring back people who play former comic book characters or whatever who didn't do so well in their movies and give them another chance. Like, get the extra money in their pocket from actually a $1 billion box office success. Yes, let's do that.
Seeing her workout training videos is pretty good.
Yeah. Did you see her and like she did that Cribs video?
Yeah, I like the reference.
It was great.
I like the reference of like her and Daredevil, but like we're not together anymore. And I'm like, oh, I know that reference because she was with Ben Affleck for like a decade.
That's right. Yeah,
he doesn't care that that Daredevil fucking died. He's like, is that I don't know. He's like, I'm sorry to hear that. She's like, it's fine. And it's like,
right. Yeah, exactly.
I kind of wish that they actually had Ben Affleck in the movie so they could make the joke that Ben Affleck made about the Daredevil costume from that movie he was in, because everyone's like, the costume looks terrible, and he's like, it was made by a blind guy. And like,
that's a good joke. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think he came up with it, but
Yeah, probably not. But like, whatever. It's
whatever.
Still
it's a good joke. I think it would have been great to have seen that in there, but whatever. That's fine.
Now, Wolverine's arc was incredible in this because again, he's considered the worst Wolverine out of all of them because he basically got the X-Men killed.
It's the storyline for Old Man Logan without saying that's the storyline for Old Man Logan. Which is funny because Old Man Logan actually does appear as a cameo too, but whatever. It's
just
a good reason for a Logan with a shotgun,
The only time that I like anything with multiverses in it apparently is when they have the worst variant of a thing, Client Redemption, like everything everywhere
all at once.
Yeah. Wolverine. Like,
did you always like the Flash movie?
Oh man, I forgot about that.
Yeah. But it's incredible how he finally comes to terms, like, I mean, with, what he did and, like, why he still wears the suit.
Like, it's understandable why the script appealed to him, right? Like,
it would have been so hard to fuck up that suit. Like, like how it actually.
That's why they never did it. Because like, what is it they said when the first one directed by nobody came out? They're like, that wouldn't work. That wouldn't work on a movie.
Yeah,
that's why they put it on Black
Panther. Like the Matrix.
Yeah, they had a direction to go for like the Matrix, which is understandable. And Blade also, came out before that, was also doing black leather, so it made sense at the time. And then X-Men '97 also made reference to that.
That's right.
Yeah. But there were some people that were nitpicking about the suit, and I'm like, what? They're like the shoulder pad, the big shoulders were. I'm like, who the fuck cares? Okay, we got the mask, we got the pad,
and it actually looks good. It looks better than most of the Batman masks, frankly.
Yes. Some people were complaining about the white eyes too. I'm like, they look good.
And his neck can move.
Would only work in a comedy though. Like I can't see like if there was a serious version of Wolverine, like a Wolverine movie, and he had come out in that suit, I would have been like literally the one from this movie. I would have been like,
the yellow suit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why the brown one stuck around.
Yeah, that looked a lot better. I think the brown one looked a lot better.
Yeah,
I love. He's like, you fought the Hulk in this one, right?
Yeah, which is great because that's like
and then he
a callback to Wolverine's first appearance in comics. Great.
And then he quoted Loki. He's like, "I'm Marvel genius." And then he gets.
And they also made reference to that beautiful Todd McFarlane cover where you can see Hulk's Wolverine's reflection. No, Hulk's reflection, Wolverine's claws.
Yeah,
I agree, Matt. The mask was legitimately intimidating, which is like. Well done. Well done to the I mean, I'm sure if it gets any Oscar nominations at all, it'll be for like, production design and costuming, technical effects only.
Please, we need a comic movie Oscar to win since like Suicide Squad for best makeup and costume.
So Forrest, I'm curious, since you're, as you like to bring up in the show very often, not into superhero movies. What did you get out of this one?
I mean, I don't know. I thought it was funny, pretty much. Like, I thought the bits worked pretty well. I mean, I wasn't like overwhelmingly getting well, it's not that I didn't get the references, but like, I don't know, like seeing. I mean, I saw Fantastic Four, but like a fucking long ass time ago. Like, I was like a kid when I saw it. And like I've seen like a bunch of the X-Men movies, and I've seen but like all of it was kind of far enough back in my brain that it wasn't like I was like pulling all that stuff up, I guess. But I liked that they did the whole fucking bit about like the multiverse kind of sucking, because I feel like even as somebody that doesn't really watch like a lot of these movies, like I'm tired of that phrase multiverse even coming up, and like it felt very So like just for the fucking references to like, this is like the worst version of a superhero movie kind of
Marvel's L's
standpoint.
Yeah, just pointing out Marvel's L's after L after L throughout the movie was great.
I think that superhero movies in general, right? Like either this or like Thor Ragnarok or something like that, right? Like I think it's revitalizing when they bring humor into it and when things aren't so self-serious. And I hope that they take more of that from this movie, like this whole franchise working, like the self-serious kind of stuff like they did at the beginning of the Avengers. Just kind of, it doesn't work. Like it's just too.
I think there's been too much of that, right? Like I think that's it's like too much of anything. For a while there was like lots of ribald, raunchy like sex comedies, and there was none. And then they came back and like people gave them way too much credit. It's like, no, this isn't as good as you think it is. You're just not used to seeing these anymore. But then like by the same token, people get sick of anything, right? Like we've on this show we've talked about like great, like here's yet another biopic. Great, exactly what nobody asked for. Like there's all kinds of things where it's if you don't see something that has some aspect of cleverness or interesting things about it, of course you're just going to be like, I'm burnt on this. I don't care about this. I don't want to know about it. I don't want to know like what the next phase is. I don't care. Doesn't matter to me at all. The next phase should be silence for like a few years until we sort this all out.
But it is interesting that like when they make more humorous like whenever the Marvel fucking universe kind of stumbles or whatever, like it's always been fascinating to me that like injecting humor into it is always something that revitalizes it for me.
Guardians of the Galaxy, right? Ant-Man, great. I mean, these are all good examples. Like you mentioned, Thor Ragnarok. Like these are all films that they work as movies.
Yeah,
not just as like, here's the next installment of your of your heroine.
And it's gonna be interesting seeing James Gunn implement some comedy and heart into the DCU, because we all know Zack Snyder was completely soulless. So it's like a lot of people are mad about that. I'm like, but he also has. I'm like, James Gunn has a great track record with all his comic book movies, like the Guardians of the Galaxy, like he's gonna, don't worry.
Suicide Squad, I mean, like it's definitely like he has a great habit of like these are the characters that you like thought you didn't want to hear anything about, and like I'm gonna make something very compelling for you to watch, which is great.
Yeah.
And
but
if he can do that,
we're not gonna get him to do Next Men, which. Next Wave. I'm sorry.
Next Wave. Agents of Hate. Yeah, I didn't want to do on you, but
no. Next Man was John Byrne, but
Warren Ellis. I've actually read Next Wave like 3 times. It's
Next Wave is great. Honestly, like I don't know why it hasn't been like if Marvel wants to learn the right lesson, adapt Next Wave. Like that's
exactly.
They already got Monica Rambeau, so there you go.
Let's bring in Elsa Bloodstone and Boomer and all that. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, Letterboxd, of course, is a film site for film lovers to talk with and to each other about the films that they love, maybe the films that they didn't love, maybe the films that they exclusively focused on thirst posting for Hugh Jackman's abs. And of course, all of this is best expressed succinctly. Everybody, it's a bottom-up democracy. Everyone's have their say, but it's best to keep it succinct, keep it short. And that's what happens for this bit, where the various entries for the movies that we cover are collected by myself over the week and we put them on screen and react to them. These are the Letterboxd one-liners for Deadpool and Wolverine. Let's go. Guys will see this and just think, hell yeah, I'm guys.
Yeah,
it's a great background, by the way, and also great faux poster with the.
I like the soy facing Ryan Reynolds kind of.
Yeah,
that's like his go-to expression as Deadpool, like.
Yeah. Well, if you got a face mask on, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I wonder if we will ever know why Thor was crying.
I said why he's crying. Okay, we got this.
Catch up. Catch up, person that can't hear the show.
I don't know. I think they're gonna come up with something better than just faking the death, but maybe.
I would like to thank Marvel for including everyone except T.J. Miller.
Yeah, he's the one guy that they couldn't keep in the void either. They were like,
yeah.
You've assaulted somebody in the void. Like now you're in like a super void.
Yeah, he's got the.
There's a new level we made for you.
Yeah, just him.
He's constantly stuck as that. But you see that those allergy commercials where he's like the mucus that's like this is T.J. Miller as mucus. He's that for forever. That would be my conceit. Like no, we got a part for you in the movie. You're in the super void and you're the mucus.
Mucinex, right? He's like
sure. Yeah.
I know the guy who directed him in the Emoji Movie. By the way,
I'm so sorry.
I don't want to be reminded that there is an Emoji Movie. I hate that.
Anyone else get violently ill when that bald bitch was fingering everybody?
It's kind of hot.
Great horror effects with that. Very much like Legion with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did a good job fucking having her drag Matthew McFadden with her fingers in his head. Like that effect I feel like could have looked not realistic or something, but it's just so gross that it looked realistic.
Yeah.
Theater loudly booed when Hugh Jackman put his shirt back on.
a whole theater full of like middle-aged, recently divorced women.
Yes,
exactly. I mean, I get it. Feels like Channing Tatum doing the Cajun accent is racist somehow.
Come on, you got he like. I like that he keeps switching the act. It's just so bad. Like. He's like, yeah, man, you got to know, man. And it's like, is he slipped in a Jamaican accent there? Like,
what is
and then he does Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa. I'm like, I hear you, Black Panther.
Exactly.
Well, no, they recast Black Panther as Channing Tatum. I thought it was, I thought race blind it's race blind casting.
They don't make movies like this anymore.
They really don't.
No.
Yeah, I don't think. To be fair, I don't think you could make this today.
Yeah, exactly. If Dogpool has 1,000 fans, I am one of them. If Dogpool has 100 fans, I am one of them. If Dogpool has 1 fan, it is me. If Dogpool has 0 fans, I am dead.
That's
we
how
love
I feel about
Dogpool
this movie
here.
too.
Exactly. Justice for Dogpool. Funny Cop teams up with Grumpy Cop, but they are superheroes instead of cops.
True. ACAP all the way.
No, ASAP or ASAP, all superheroes are bastards.
Yeah, see, that's the boys' mentality for sure. Anyway, those are Letterboxd one-liners for Wolverine, Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm screwing up the billing. I'm gonna hear from my agent about this.
Wolverine and Deadpool,
Wolverine and Deadpool, exactly. That's a very contentious topic. Please follow the show on our Letterboxd HQ account at Movie Night Extra, where we're covering movies just like this one and many other movies that we cover in this show with all additional content, links, text, etc. At Movie Night Extra. You can follow your host, Deadpool Core CEO Forrest, at Always Flacco. He's logging all the stuff from here. Lots more. I know you just did a speed run of Alex Cox films into Lord of the Rings into the Deadpool movie, so that's kind of an interesting.
Every single time now it's in 3s. 3 Lord of the Rings films.
It's true.
3 Deadpool movies. 3 Alex Cox films.
Yeah. He's not wrong about that. So follow him on Letterboxd there for that. I am at Conan Neutron, gubernatorial. And you can follow me, and I'm doing the highbrow, midbrow, the populous fair, all the stuff in between. Follow me for the Criterion Challenge, speeding along, although I really haven't been keeping up on it lately, but I am back on track. Film school dropouts, all that stuff. J. Andrew World breakup at Disney. He's over there watching all the weirdest stuff so you don't have to. Maybe you can. Not for me to say. I saw you're watching like some kung fu movies or something, right? I mean, that's like I didn't see exactly what it was.
Everybody was kung
what
fu
was it?
fighting.
Yeah, no, I watched this really weird early Jackie Chan movie with the woman who played the landlord from Kung Fu Hustle was the lead. Which apparently I didn't know this until I watched it. She's actually taught Jackie Chan and Sammo Hung. Like that was their teacher. I didn't realize that. But yeah, it was this weird badly dubbed kung fu movie about like a dead woman and cops trying to investigate, and Jackie Chan has this giant mole on his face, and it is a wild ride. And it's got like 67 different names, but the version I watched was called Rumble in Hong Kong.
There it is. So if that interests you for some reason, go follow Andy at right about now too on Letterboxd, and you can see what he is up to over there. Kristina, Uzi time, baby, down there. Adam, Kristina, she's been logging stuff when it suits her, so you can follow along with her and see what her thoughts are on maybe 2 or 3 movies a year.
Yeah.
Peace and love. Josh, I don't know if you have a Letterboxd account.
Yes, I do. I do.
Okay, what is that?
Afternoon
Tune? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So follow Afternoon Tune to see what Josh is logging. I will do that as soon as the show is over because I'm a professional. God damn it. Let's do the plugs.
If you're watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe, and then hit the bell to get notified whenever we're streaming. And we'd humbly request that you watch the video to the end because it helps us with the algorithm and helps more film fans to discover the show. We're also monetized. If you want to get your chat questions definitely read on stream, you can always send us a super chat, which will help us keep the show going. Every cent helps. If you're watching on Twitch, you can gift us a free sub on Amazon Prime with your Prime membership, but getting subs on Twitch is always appreciated, and it helps to follow us on there as well. We also have an audio feed, which is available wherever you download podcasts, if you prefer to listen to podcasts rather than watch the stream. That's updated usually the same day we stream, but watching on YouTube and Twitch is the best way to get the show first, live as it happens. If you want to support us with a monthly donation and get access to all of our after parties forever, which go patron only after we do them, you can become a patron at patreon.com/movie night extra. Link is in the description for that. It really helps us keep the show going since we do have some expenses to make this happen. We also have a Discord community. Link is in the description for that. We sometimes watch movies we cover on there. We get into conversations about everything from film to TV shows to related podcasts. We even have a Discord channel for memes. It's really fun on there. You can find us on all the social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, Twitter, and Threads. You connect with us on all of those. Talk to us. We'd love to hear from you. Lastly, we recently made a TikTok at Movie Night Extra where we're putting up short form clips from the episodes. Okay, passing this to Conan so he can tell you about his music and this week's Protonic Reversal. Conan, who's on Protonic this week?
The band Upright Forms on Thursday on the normal slot. Sean and Noah and Nick Sakes. That should be great. Talking about their latest record. It's awesome. And then special Saturday episode coming up with Mr. Alan Johannes of Queens of Stone Age, PJ Harvey's band, 11. So many great outfits. He has not been on for a full episode about 4 years, so there's a lot to cover. But he was on the 10th anniversary episode. Conan Neutron, The Secret Friends, neutronfriends.bandcamp.com. We have shows coming up in San Francisco, in Los Angeles, in San Diego, and Phoenix next month, September 19th, 20th, 21st, and 22nd, if I remember correctly. Playing Detroit with God Bullies in October, and just announced 2 shows with Dead Bob, John Wright from No Means No's new band in Minneapolis and Chicago, coming up in November, also with Lung. And there's some other stuff going to be around all that as well. So follow the band at Neutron Friends everywhere, and me and the show, Conan Neutron and Protonic Reversal. Yes, those are my plugs. Thank you. Oh, a new episode of the Pop Life Years in Music show on Saturday as well. I'm doing 2 shows on Saturday with Jason. We're doing 77, my birth year.
Ooh,
Which
plus volume number 1.
So it seems like you're gonna have some kind of, maybe you're gonna have a bias towards that year. I don't know. They trust you on that.
Was this actually the best year ever? Let's ask the guys that were born in that year.
Plus, music was kind of basically hit in 77. So
There's a lot of we did 79 and it was a banger as well. But this should be a good episode. They're all really honestly they're all really good. I mean,
they're fun.
I'm biased, but it's a fun show. I wish it had a name.
I don't think you guys will ever come to the conclusion about which was the best.
I think we'll stop doing the show before we come up with a name for it. I think that's true.
Yeah.
By the way, I just realized that Emma Corrin, who played Cassandra Nova in Deadpool and Wolverine, she was the lead in Murder at the End of the World, which was the crime show by Britt Marling from OA fame, which was great, and it was a FX and Hulu exclusive, really, really cool show. And I'm not sure if a lot of people watched it because it's a little like esoteric, but it had Harris Dickinson's in it, Clive Owen. Like it's a strong cast. It definitely like. I do remember being distracted by the fact that, like, first of all, she's great as the lead, which is the detective, but, like, I was like, wow, she seems so young. How does this child doing detective work? Like she seemed like so, and it's like one of the only times I've really felt that way. Although I gotta say, I saw a trailer for this new Alien movie. It's like, are they exclusive? You get like actors and actresses that are like under 20 because everyone here looks like a baby.
Everyone's looking younger.
Like is it like Detective Doogie Howser or whatever? And like,
it kind of seemed. Look, I mean, I'll still watch it.
He said the new Alien movie out of high school.
Right,
I'm excited. A lot of people are saying that's a good movie. I can't wait to see it.
I thought Covenant was good. You know, even when the Alien movies aren't great, they're still pretty good. Usually, I mean, there's a couple exceptions, and they're all crossovers, or Prometheus.
But
Prometheus catching some flack. Oh, Josh, you have plugs as well. This is where you do your plugs too.
Yeah, sure. So I am Josh. I'm the host of The Afternoon Tune. You can follow us on all social medias, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Blue Sky, Threads, all The Afternoon Tune. Just type that in, you'll be able to find us. If you want to send us an email, you can do so at theafternoontune@gmail.com. If you want to subscribe to us on any of the podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. If you see us on any of the platforms, make sure to leave a good 5-star review. That helps boost the podcast. It does a lot for us. Twitch.tv/Afternoon Tune. You just stream every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, sometimes Wednesday there. Trying to get to 1,000 followers there. YouTube.com, The Afternoon Tune. Just type that in. You'll be able to find us there. We post up good clips, reviews, discussions, pop culture talk there, all that. The Afternoon Tune on YouTube there. So, yeah.
You forgot to say no purchase necessary.
I thought you were gonna start accepting bids for a while there. You have like amazing cadence, dude. That was amazing. That was incredible. Well, 100, do I hear 1 out of 10? Yeah,
Wait a minute.
I feel like we're missing a crucial exposition here.
That's fantastic.
Kristina, though, you've been doing a lot.
I've been streaming my little ass off. Well, actually, no, it's more of a big ass. But I've been streaming a lot. I've been last night we listened to me, Dan from the web, and Jessica Burbank. We listened to the most boring conversation ever in our history, Elon Musk and Donald Trump. I'm gonna be covering the debates, all the debates with Dan. We gotta work around that for the podcast. And I got Adam McKay to come on. So come help us.
Revealing it without it being on the calendar is still pretty amazing. That's great.
Yeah. Yep. I'm excited about that.
Don't have him listen to the rest of the episodes.
No, we're good.
We have pretty good takes on whatever. You can listen to you get very passionate about Vice.
Vice is it's there's a lot of impassioned rants by Andy and especially me just about politics from that era.
I think that's our most downloaded
I like the movie.
audio episode.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Really? That one? Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
actually we were pretty nice about The Big Short too. I mean, like that's a good movie. I think the only thing is that like I don't think he would want to know that Jerry Casale really didn't like Don't Look Up, but whatever. A lot of other people didn't like it too. I did.
Yeah,
same.
And also too, I've been invited on The Hill Rising. Not sure when that's gonna happen, but Jessica's gonna get me in touch with the production team. She told me just don't read comments because we got a lot of like right wingers. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'm not gonna read all that shit.
Oh, like when we did what was it, Wall Street?
Yeah.
That was like a bunch of people just like dropped the N-word in there, and I was like, this is not. How is this our chat right now? This is their hashtag finance. I guess it was finance guys.
Yeah.
That is not shocking.
But is that all? You got anything else?
Yep, I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah. We're doing pretty
Okay,
good.
so bragging. Got
it. She stopped to be plugged. She just started bragging.
Oh yeah, it's weird. This is a pivot. It's kind of a flex, actually. I mean,
Yeah.
we're all
I
very
deserve
happy
it.
for you, Kristina.
Haven't you
Yeah,
ever heard of
absolutely do.
humble
Sure.
bragging? But Josh, do you have any final thoughts about this movie? Anything we didn't get to?
No, I mean there was some plot hole stuff there that I did already on my thing, so I won't keep you guys for too long there. Yeah, but yeah, just a little bit there. But I thought it was a fun movie. That was a fun movie, good movie. Yeah.
By the way, we're doing an after party after this. I sent the link into the thing for the first after party in like a month. So if you want to get into the plot hole stuff on there, you can. We can the dark side of Deadpool and Wolverine.
Right. Movie night extravaganza after dark.
Kristina, final thoughts.
Well, when I wrote in my letterbox one-liner, I said this was like a perfect metaphor for what Disney did to 20th Century Fox. And this movie does represent that perfectly. And I'm relieved to know that this is going to be the start of like the live-action X-Men mutants. Hopefully Kevin Feige does not disappoint me.
Of a beautiful friendship.
Yes.
Like I said, can consider just a bunch of like road movies starring Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm already in. Stop right there. Take my money.
I'm excited for a Deadpool and Spider-Man movie with Andrew Garfield because he's got the perfect homoerotic like undertone to make that a success with Ryan Reynolds.
Wait, is that actually happening, or is that something you're just wishing?
I feel like you're just.
Everyone's saying, but a lot of people are saying it though because him and Ryan Reynolds are best.
A lot of
friends.
people, like you, just now. Right.
And people on Twitter too.
All right. Also, Kristina and her alts on Twitter have said that as well.
I don't have enough time to make alts, man.
There was a few variants. Let's be fair.
I already spent enough time on my one account. I got like.
Right. We get it. Twitter. You like Elon? Cool. Let's move on.
If Elon is one fan, Christina's one of them.
We're very happy for your success. It's well earned. Peace and love.
Mm-hmm.
Andy, final thoughts.
I remember reading Deadpool just about when he first started showing up, and I got to witness his evolution of the comics. And it's so nice to actually see the brilliance of that. I mean, like we did not actually see him walk into a bedroom and see Aunt May and Uncle Ben having sex in heaven, like we did in the comics. But we could, and that's what's beautiful about these.
Uncle Ben, no!
Liefeld's Just Feet. It's a store people are visiting more and more.
Yes.
It's good. It's smart, like I said. Is that it?
That was it.
Oh, okay.
Conan, final thought.
Look, it's clever. It's good. It does the thing while observing it's doing the thing. If you hate Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool, or meta-referential humor, stay the hell away. I love all those things. The Bugs Bunny of superhero films is back, and I am here for it, baby! Loved it.
Does that make Wolverine his Daffy Duck?
Daffy Duck does have a temper, so not as much as Donald Duck, man. Donald Duck is like he gets weapons and stuff. Like it's
Yeah.
These ducks
He also joined the Nazis. At least Daffy Duck.
Daffy Duck innocent. Like I said before, for me it hits like a modern version of like what the Marx Brothers did and did well. And I think people kind of short sell this. I also wouldn't expect a Criterion Collection edition anytime soon, but hey, that's fine.
All right.
Maybe Armageddon's in there. I guess all bets are off.
I would be. I mean, like I feel like the original Deadpool would be the most likely that they'd put in a Criterion. I don't know. Like I could see them going populist with some of that.
Do you remember when how did they let him do this? I don't remember. But was it the box DVDs? They did all the artwork where it was like Deadpool variant covers. Do you guys remember this?
No.
Yeah. What for the promoting of? Yeah, I remember all
this
that.
was for it was like 16 different movies. Hold on, I'm gonna pull I guess this is classic after party material, but
yeah. You want to jump to the after party and then we can pull it up.
Yeah. So come in. By the way, it was for Walmart. So we'll lead with that.
Yeah.
So that makes it even weirder, frankly. So join us for the after party for after that, and where we talk about
where we're going to be streaming live from a Walmart.
Yeah.
We're brought to you by our new sponsor, Walmart.
Yeah, we'd like to welcome a new sponsor.
The Super Store, whatever. Super Center.
Our two main sponsors, Walmart and McDonald's.